Welcome to Free Agents, our Cypher system RPG set within the Beacon Space universe. While the faction turn deals with giant political organizations and factions, our game looks into the Penumbra, the shadows of society where light and darkness meet, the shadows and the cracks. The place where clients with exacting needs can claim plausible deniability and get the things done that nobody else can. Individuals within the Penumbra are our titular free agents, and a team of such will perform a mission today. So let's introduce our agents, starting with Remo. Why don't you introduce yourself to us?
Well, Reamer is probably in his little apartment in Helositis, probably looking over his mini biome, wondering why he can't get his prison beetles to go from bubblegum pink to amethyst, as he's attempting to, but also like petting his cat, gently floating by him. He is a description of him. He has brown bark. He has like brown skin that's kind of like in a bark texture, but still like flesh. His natural hair is a grass green color. But he generally wears a beanie on his head anyway, because his hair particularly. He's wearing his signature like long coat that has his camo colored, but with in hexes instead, like a camo hex style, same with pants matching.
Right.
And I think it's around the time he's been living a decent life, so that 250 he's spending only on himself. And he's been training and doing a bunch of things for his particular faction and random activities the last while.
Cool.
He probably noticed his pad. There's another mission pop by and starts reading that.
And Whittle, why don't you describe your character for us?
Whittle is a quiltal and an inquisitive speaker who crafts unique objects, and she is probably writing down what she's learned of the Valkyrian language and selling that, because why not? She's got a corner of the market there that not many people have access to, so she's making the most use of that.
Yeah, you and Kit, have you been talking about the language much?
Probably. Just, making sure I don't get rusty in it.
And next up, the fastest man on two wheels, Fidey. Why don't you introduce yourself to us?
Hello there. I'm looking to see if I can upgrade to maybe 3 wheels, one on my forehead. I'm Fidey. I'm a perceptive explorer who solves mysteries. A former rapid planet surveyor. He's very much typical Ascent, in that he is quick in both senses of the world and more than a little bit insufferable. He totes around as much sensor equipment as he reasonably can on his person, and is looking to expand it off his person as soon as possible. And he uses pretty much constantly to scan everyone and everything, and makes as much inferences about it as possible. And aside from being rude to his handlers, that's pretty much his whole shtick.
Cool. And last but not least, but maybe the shortest, we'll have to stand you next to Whittle and see. Cinch, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Well, I am at least a full inch taller than Whittle. I've decided that. But,
I think we do have confirmation when we talked about heights before that Whittle is shorter.
Yeah, just, but not by much.
Gotcha.
In a fight, we're probably both hiding behind someone larger. Let's be honest. Cinch is a clever explorer, and she works the system not just for benefit, but just for fun. She just likes messing around with as much as she can and pushing as many limits as she can. But as adorable as she is, with bright cotton candy pink hair and diminutive size, she is quite dangerous. So I kind of like to describe her as, a lollipop-coated chainsaw.
Cool. And as Remor hinted at, we're going to start doing lifestyles. The agents will have been living a certain quality of life in the time since their last mission. Remor, you were living a pretty standard life, your own private space, cheap rent, 250 howl. How did everyone else? How were you spending your time? Living in luxury, living on people's couches, something in between.
No,
Whittle.
I think. Oh, go for it.
Whittle has also spent time in standard accommodation.
Cool.
I think Cinch is going to splurge. She did pretty well, ripping off Greenie and getting paid. So she treated herself to a better apartment this month.
Damn, full 500.
Full 500.
What's the Cinch's favorite food that she's been able to grab thanks to splurging?
There is this kind of spiky fruit, and it's bright blue with green spots. And when you get in past the skin, it's almost like a white watermelon. And it's sweet and has this gives her this amazing boost of energy. And it's like almost like eating watery cotton candy. It just kind of melts on your mouth.
Sweet on the inside with a dangerous and spiky exterior. Where have I heard that one before? Fidey, how have you been living?
Living at large.
Yeah?
I wish I had a follow-up to that. I wish I had a clear idea of what living large meant for Fidey, but nope, just living at large.
Maybe you just paid for really good internet to absorb as much information as possible.
Oh hell yeah! And then watch 20 different traces at once or something like that.
That's Fidey's idea of luxury.
Hell yeah!
Cool.
You put wheels on your bed.
Oh man, that's a great idea.
He's just got a track in his apartment. Well, at one point or another, you have all seen the following mission from Agent Chandler. And it reads, the sender is Agent Chandler, and the subject is Cybernetic Cynic. The TWS Tangaroa and its Admiral Jonah Finch, a Brax from the Alina Fiafa mining group, are beginning a trip from 0909 to 0510, Planet A. The client requests that by the time the TWS Tangaroa arrives at Planet A, the current Admiral is no longer in their position. Additional compensation if Admiral Finch is still alive at the ship's arrival. Bonus rewards available if the client can be informed of why this crew is cynical about cybernetics. From where we get our episode title. We get the episode title, Cybernetic Cynics, and we get a shot of TTGI Station, the Cacti Oasis Bar Casino. Then the screen fuzzes and shorts, and we get a bit of static. When it cuts back in again, the logo has been replaced with the Slamming Shortbread, and it pops up in the bottom left corner, 0609 Tootham. We see, as we zoom in to the Slamming Shortbread, it's a dainty cafe with lots of strawberry motifs, kind of bright colours, a bit tacky, a bit of a tourist trap. We see they have a TV on in the corner. We see a BBTV nightly news broadcast. We hear the familiar voice of Anchor Calbrecht saying, "Welcome to Beacon Broadcast tonight. Comet Stravocaros has impacted Telas. Breaking report as we go into the details today on our law stream." And continue in through the cafe. We see sat at the table. We see three of our agents. Who's the first one sat down at a cafe?
Oh man, strawberry and sweet. Cinch would have been there like as fast as possible.
Cool.
You know I'm gonna be there last minute.
Oh, of course.
Reamer will be on time.
Yeah,
So,
Remor
prob-
and Cinch.
Like Cinch is probably like through like 2 or 3 strawberry desserts, to be honest.
Mm.
Reamer probably has like he probably bought some of the gingerbread, eating that
Yeah.
slowly, while also being slightly off put by, but he's slightly fascinated by how quickly you've been eating the strawberry treats.
Yeah.
Whittle.
There's like no slowing down the strawberries, man. Like, don't get them on station. I grew up with like mushrooms and like reconstituted protein.
Whittle is probably talking to the people in the next booth.
What's the snippet of conversation that we hear?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can leave you to think about that as we cut to our last arrival, who I assume is wheeling in.
Hell yeah. A teeny bit more gracefully than the last time. He'd like getting used to the station more.
I think, as you arrive, you get greeted by a stunningly beautiful, beautiful's the only word for him. It's a man who you would know to be Agent Handler Chandler. I mean, somewhat unique for being upfront about who he is and where he is, the proprietor of the Slamming Shortbread on 0609 Tootham. It's hard to get a grasp of his face, his features. Every time you look away and look back, his face seems to be a little different, but each time stunningly attractive, and whatever your personal interpretation of the perfect human face to be, that's
you know I'm scanning him a whole
That's
bunch
how it
of
looks.
I know you're doing like an intro bit, but like if he has like I have an inscrutable face, you know, I'm like as many terabytes as it takes. I'm scanning every inch of that feature to the exact patterns.
Yeah, I'm sure. His hair is done up in a top knot. He has a shallow chin and a strong, prominent forehead. He has thick eyebrows, and a feature that remains constant from every time you glance at him is a neatly trimmed style of beard and mustache, although the style themselves also change each time you look away and look back. It's a neat goatee, then it's a chin strap, then it's a curling mustache, etc., etc. Each well kept and well groomed. Yeah, as you walk in, Chandler introduces. So he goes, your friends are already here. They're sat at the table there.
You know, the first time you introduced him, you said it's difficult to have a grasp of his features, and now the only thing I can think of, and it's very hard to think of anything else without like putting out in the open, is just grabbing his face. And I honestly can't think of anything to do but say that I grab his face, even though that's not a reasonable thing to do. So I'm just gonna meta out and say, yeah, I make it to the table and say hi to Finch and wait for something to get introduced that gets me off the train of thought.
You can grab his face if you want. This is an RPG.
No. As a player, I do. For actually, it might be in character for Fidey. He's not too touchy feely, but what is my
Curious.
yeah? What is my sense circuit telling me? That would be my first go before like Oh, I'm. There's no other way. I'm just gonna have to resort to physical senses.
Mhm. Your
Take
sensor kit is registering a very healthy human. No, it's hard to tell age from physical attributes in beacon space. You'd guess
Sure.
somewhere in the middle of their life. You'd note probably a blade on the hip of some kind, though it doesn't appear to be particularly a weapon, more of a tool. Yeah, not much other than that. Standard bio readings.
Sure. Am I getting it? Do I get not necessarily like what's behind the phase shifting, but more what's the source of that's causing it?
This is more of a memory thing than what your sensor kit is capable of. Why don't you give me intellect roll difficulty 6?
Yeah, I can Oh, I this is pretty much my whole shtick, I guess. So it's not. Yeah, you said it's not really perception based. It's entirely memory based. So
Yeah, your sensor isn't helping here. This is just
yeah,
remembering
yeah.
something that you heard about.
Yeah. That's fine. That's established. I'm wondering about my bevy of like other perception skills. Do those apply, or I'm just making a flash roll?
Yeah, sleuth applies, and then probably calling to mind trivial details probably applies. So that'd be 2 help.
I don't think it's trivial details. I think it's something weird. Oh yeah, it is trivial details. Okay, so that's gonna be difficulty 4. What does that translate to into actual difficulty? I'm sorry, I'm gonna be asking.
That's a target number of 12.
Target number of 12. Sure. I'll put into effort and I'll make this off speed. Cool.
Sure.
Actually, that's 2. So I'm gonna dissolve first. It's baseline of 6, right?
Baseline of 6.
Cool. This is an excellent way to spend my limited resources.
I mean, like, honestly, like, first thing I'm thinking of if you grab his face, Finch is probably just going to whip a strawberry at the back of your head. Like, manners!
Right. So default difficulty is 4 after applications, and efforts to roll 2. That should translate the same, I guess. Okay. Yay!
Success. Cool. You would have beaten it without the skills. Yeah, you can call to mind that you've heard of similar effects. Not exactly this effect, but close enough that you can extrapolate.
Sure.
It's likely an effect of some kind of bleed affliction, likely biomancy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So his it's not like a trick or anything. His face is literally constantly shifting. That's sweet.
Well, it's hard to tell if it's acting, if it's your perception being altered. But so far as you can tell, this is entirely unconscious. It's not an active choice. It's just a side effect.
Yeah, that's for unconscious for him. You mean it's not?
Yes.
It's not.
Yeah. Yeah. It may be that this person is not even actively trying to do this. It's just an aspect of their person, the same as breathing or blinking.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Sorry for taking away from the intro a bit. I think the way this translates in the fiction is that like Chandler does the greeting, and like after like seeing him, like we see Feige kind of squinting at his face a bit, and then you see him just like lost in the instrumentarium, in his instrumentarium and sensory bit for a bit. Like it probably takes a second or two for Chandler to prod him again. Like, yeah, no, your group is there, or something before like a Feige comes to and just says a cool face or or something like that.
Thank you. I think. So as I showed you all on the they walk over to the table where you're all sat, and they put a pad down on the table, which at present is showing the receipt of a different table's bill, and flickers to the familiar black and green of the Penumbra network, flashing up the mission brief. As you've all read, the TWS Tangaroa requires a change of leadership, or at least that is what the requirement is to be paid for your actions. It's an interesting ship. It's of Phi origin, although passed through a few hands since then, I believe. If you have any pertinent questions, I might be able to furnish you with more information before you go off on your merry way.
Do we have a say potential list of rules or infractions that could potentially lead to someone of his position losing their position?
List of rules. Well, it is Phi, and particularly Alina Fiafa. They take loyalty very seriously, and competency as well. If either of those things are brought into question, I could see a lot of the work being done for you, but that's no certainty.
Am I getting this right, or do we literally get paid 2,000 hull if we just sit our own asses in and the ship gets there all right?
I believe that's the case.
Cool. I mean, I got shot a bunch of the last time, so this just feels like an easy job. Like, I think I very obviously will wink at Cinch. Like, yeah, I'm funny. This is a great joke.
I'm glad I can bring you some easement from your troubles, and yes, you are indeed correct. The client would very much appreciate Jonah Finch remaining breathing at the end of all this. Jonah Finch. What to say about Jonah Finch? Well, I don't know if you've ever met a Brax before, but they do have the most beautiful scales.
What is a Brax?
Perhaps you should have studied up on this area of space, my dear. A Brax is one of the many species native to the Dinean legacy of evolution. They have wings that perhaps once they used, but certainly don't anymore. Very lithe, scaled. You've probably seen a few around and just not known who they were.
All right, so keep them alive, get them fired, and find out why they don't like robots. Sounds like fun.
If that is how you choose to interpret the mission, that is, of course, your prerogative.
Do we have any information on how large the crew is?
Ah, yes, the ship. It is not insignificant. There is around, I would say, 20 to 25 crew, and it fluctuates as with all cargo vessels, but It is it has crew enough, but you will be a significant element on board the ship.
Is there any section of the crew that's been with Captain or Admiral Jonah for longer?
Any what of the crew? Sorry.
Any section of the crew, so any group of them that have been with him longer than, just your normal on and off transport?
Oh, I would imagine
Hoppers?
that the command staff is pretty well established. I don't know how familiar you are with the Alina Fiafa, but they certainly subscribe to the what word should I use? The shared experience native to their peoples.
Reamer's like, as they what cargo or will they or the what's the purpose of the transport?
It is good that you should mention that, and I do apologize. I will be having be getting along soon. He fishes into a pocket. They put fish into a pocket and put a data chip down on the table. I'm sorry that I couldn't include this in the message, but it was a little too sensitive. This is the route of the ship, and hopefully will give you a better idea of the timeline.
Yeah, I kind of grab it, slot it in, and I assume like there's like a general data pad capacity where you can just like do that and
Sure.
display the information for everyone.
Can you give me some kind of computers roll at difficulty 6? Any relevant ability that you have, either like coding or hacking or anything of that nature.
This was not a good idea. I will
Let's pass that one to Cinch, who's got hacked the system.
I will allow myself to be intercepted by anyone more competent in this than myself. Very gracefully.
What I am gonna say is this is already in your device. You did explicitly say.
Yeah, that is very fair. Okay, I'm pretty sure I have no applicable abilities.
Cinch just reaches across the table and flicks them in the forehead for grabbing it first. By the way.
Good though.
Can I help him with Hack the Impossible and my digital interface tool?
I think you can definitely provide one asset of help with smart-ass comments from across the table.
Yay! Smart-ass
love that.
comments win.
Okay. Let's see. Actually, no, I have nothing else applicable. I'm gonna key this off might. And that means because of my lavish lifestyle, I do get one additional asset if I remember
This
right.
This is intellect.
Yeah, and I use might for intellect tasks, or speed, or whatever I choose.
Mm-hmm. Just making sure you are using your skill.
Yup. That's gonna be 4, and hopefully I don't smash this thing, but whatever.
Well, investigator is for applying effort to a task, but
oh, okay.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, in this case. Yeah, so you get up onto your screen, you get a schedule of the ship's travel, which is staying at 0909 Tootham, which is your current location, or current hex at least. It's staying in a different station, but transit there is trivial. It's staying there for 2 days. Then it's traveling to 0809, which will take 2 days, then to 0609, which will take 2 days, and then finally to 0510, which will take 4 days. which is traveling to Telas, then Dacia, then Dinai, and then Planet A.
If we want to ride back to Talos.
You go back to Telas, then back to here, and then out to an unexplored planet.
Sorry, and where is here currently?
So you are currently in 0609 Tootham, which is the third stop on the journey. So you're going back to the core. If you look at the map at the bottom left, you're going back to the center, 0909. Then via Keisho, which is just one up, 0809. Then back to 0609, and then out to 0510, which isn't on this map, but is an unexplored planet currently.
Cool.
That's the trade route that it's taking.
Can we have the route posted in chat, please?
It has been.
Oh, probably roll 20 chat. I'm not the one I'm looking at. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I will put it in the Discord as well.
No, that's fine. I'll just focus on this one.
Sure.
Yeah, Thomas.
Well, at least we got the map, so that gives us
Oh, sure.
8 days to get somebody fired. That should be enough.
It was like, not the best at conversing with others, but maybe we could find a way of making his particular job seem insurmountable for his skills.
This looks very much like a pickup job. I wonder what you're doing.
I mean,
The unexplored planet might be interesting too.
Or it might be a drop-off job. I wonder what they have on them right now.
I mean, the most straightforward thing here is us to
to
remove him from position from a more forceful, but our request was to keep him alive.
While we still have, if we're doing it more forcefully, it's probably best to do it over Dacia, and then I mean, it might be more easier to exfiltrate than it might be. Does every planet kind of have like a little way station or something, or not really? If we left
way station meaning
if we left at Dacia, which is like currently just a world with nothing on it, could we get picked up by someone reasonably, or is that something we would need to set up in advance?
So Dacia within Keisho is an ice world, and Cinch has been there. So Cinch can tell you about it.
There is a station there, a weapons station that's testing various robots. It'd be fun to go steal that one back. Wait, what? And if we had to dock a ship there, maybe Whittle could leave hers there. But I mean, like, personally, guys, I want an extra 500 howls, so let's just keep them alive.
I mean, we can like we can put him in a sack, take him to the station, and keep him alive.
Reamer takes out his like knuckles and barks a bit. There are ways of eliminating someone without removing them from removing their life.
Yes, but are you going to fight 28 other crew members?
You don't. You're like, just it's all about. We just need one good ambush.
In terms of 0809 Keisho, you would all also know it to be quite a tourist destination. Being 1 hex from the center, it's where a lot of the historic generation ships arrived in beacon space. Anyone that wasn't exactly on the right gravitational well contact, a lot of them ended up in Keisho. So there's a lot of tourist activity there. Lots of the mechanical tag is pilgrimage sites, which in for this case is tourist locations. Lots of people go there on
Kinda turn-
both religious and secular travel.
I turned to Whittle and like, do you remember that captain guy that we swindled a trip from? What was his name? He could always pick us up. He was fun.
Well, if nothing else, if what was his name? Sabina. If Sabina is still situated on that research station, then that's a contact we could potentially use.
Before we go on in like a full on planning mode, I do have one question to Chandler before he goes. Like, I can't help but notice that the interesting way that admirals is spelled in this. Why the italics on the title here? Admiral Jonah Finch.
It is the best approximation in the common tongue. It is a title of the Tahara Fire. You can ask them yourself.
I mean, but you know, and you're here.
Quite truthfully, I am not as familiar with the nuances of the language, but
Yeah, but like broad terms.
broad terms, one who is in charge of a larger ship.
Great. So it's a big one. Lots of crew. Good to know. Yeah,
Please enjoy your pastries. And he's gonna walk off to behind the till.
Kind of look at Feige and I'm like, are there any handlers that like you anymore?
I mean, I just started, so there's probably some that haven't met me yet.
I think we should try and get passage on the ship. Maybe say that we're looking for passage to planet A and find a way to disgrace the captain or the admiral.
Included with the mission is Chandler getting you on the ship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that part you don't have to worry about.
Okay.
Oh, okay. What's our cover story? Are we like we're new crewmates or something like that?
That's up to you. You have passage, but the story that you're going in with, that's up to you.
Okay. Do we know what the ship's like declared purpose is or something like that?
Well,
Yeah,
we could have.
It's a cargo ship.
Okay. I say we are cargo.
Are you gonna hang out in your box the whole time?
Wait, he's like, Rimmer's like that. We are cargo.
I said that, and now I desperately need to make that work somehow. Yes, we are a set of living statues, set for the pilgrimage site.
It's like most cargoes are not met in a hospitable fashion. Even
Being
for
passengers.
We're going to planet A, dude. Like, how about we're just going to planet A, and then because it's unexplored, people might come to us wondering why, so we can find out about the crew if they're curious about us.
Paname's a right. Planet A is the one. Sorry, Planet A is the pilgrimage planet, right?
No, one of the planets in the other Chaos Ring, Katos.
What's the tag for Planet A?
TL3, millions of people, airless within atmosphere, temperature, no native biosphere, shackled world, and immortal.
Shackled World of Immortals?
Yep. It also has a Tahara Fire base of influence and strike fleet.
How much of Action Turn information is freely available to everyone to know? Like, do we know that it's a Tahora base? Or pretty much is that established information, or is
Anything
it
that
like,
you can see on the map,
Okay.
a character can know. I mean, you can choose to be ignorant of it for roleplay purposes, but if it's something that you want to know, if you want to remember specific details, probably a roll, but just knowing, oh, Tahara Fire here, here, and here is the same as knowing where the United States is on a map. Like,
Yeah, cool.
So rumors like,
I don't think like we're going to Planet A is a very great cover story, because if we did, there's probably ships that go there directly, and this one is very clearly taking a very circuitous route to Tellus and back.
True.
I'm trying to look at them. I'm trying to pull up the map. Like, I think at this point, Reamers has like pulls out his Hive watch and starts has like a little looking at the map. I actually want to see what planets. Oops, I left Rose my back.
Anyway, I'm adding an XP.
everyone gain 1 XP for accepting a free agent mission. And if
Shoot.
you don't have a Cypher, you can gain 1. But
And
I believe everyone here has one.
for the sake of the recording, before we started, I spent 4 XP to increase my intellect edge pool.
Thank you very much.
Going from 5
Whittle is a smart
909 to
cookie.
809.
You're basically going in a circular route from Tootham down to Tellus, then going back via Dacia in Keisho, then through Tootham again to Planet A, and then
So it seems
any
like
further information about the ship you can recover.
What if? I mean, it is a circular route, but what if we were surveyors for Planet A, and this is the cheapest route?
I could easily pass for that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm done.
because I mean, the mission says that if we get the bonus if he's alive at the end of the mission. So I mean, presumably he still probably has to be on the ship alive and not the admiral. So if we sack him at Tellus, we might not get the extra money.
If we
No,
sack
he-
him and take him with us, the ship will then made its trip, and he'll be alive. That's with our custody.
He doesn't need to be at the ship. He just needs to be not dead.
And not admiral.
And the Tangaroa still needs to arrive at Planet A, but I assume there's crew enough, competent enough on a ship that's as large as his title implies to get the trip done there without him.
Unless he's the core brain function of some form of organic AI.
That ought to be interesting.
That would be interesting. Oh man.
Also, if he does end up not being on the ship when it leaves for the next port of call, that does seem like a hit against his competency, and thus likely to see him removed from his position as well.
Ooh, look, he's like,
That's a good, yeah.
He was like, so ambush him while away from the ship at one port. He
Well,
never returns.
The issue with ambushing him on Tellus might be that then we're gonna have to have a lot of legal troubles with the entirety of Tellus Station.
Well, we wouldn't do that on Talus. Maybe on Dicenia or Danae, where they're much further away. Also, well, Dicenia is the pilgrimage site. Maybe Dynia would be better because of because it has it's a hated badland world. He could have just fallen in a hole and took a long time to get out.
It
The
is
other thing,
the homeworld of Tahorify is Dino.
Oh, Dinah is the
Mhm.
that is an actual base, not a base. That's actually okay, no, never mind. She's like that'd be the worst place to drop them off.
Hellas wouldn't be terrible. We could get him loaded at the cactus and just,
Yeah, but he's like, Reema's like, will the ship even leave if it didn't have? Will the ship even leave if it didn't have its admiral? Talos is much more well surveyed than other
The,
planets. It is
the-
the new TL5 security system has probably made many assumptions at this point about us.
the only planet on this whole, well, or even like set of worlds on this whole route that doesn't have a significant Y, a horror Y. Am I saying that right? I don't think I am.
Phi.
To horrify.
Yeah.
The horrify presence is Dacia, which maybe we should run some extra checks on what was the mining group name again?
Elena
Yeah,
Fiafa.
on whatever the mining group name was. Actually, I would probably, I don't have any skills relating to that, but as a surveyor, if it's a mining group, I would know at least like something about it.
You've
Right?
heard the name before, for sure. Recently in the news, maybe 6 months ago.
Sure. But what's like the general gist of it?
Without a role, what you know
Yeah.
is their stock price took a hit when they lost an important asteroid mining contract in 0909,
909.
which is Center, tell us.
Okay. Yeah, and in terms of like just their general reputation, again, I as an ex-surveyor, I probably dealt with
Yeah.
mining companies in a general sense to some capacity.
Elena Fiafa, just culturally, from the name and from everything around them, you'll know the mining group to be a company that is from Dini, probably registered as a company or the equivalent of underneath to Horrify. Yeah, culturally, that's their origin.
Okay. Yeah, and I know I've talked up to horrify out of character a fair bit, but what does their culture like outwardly translate to when we're part of the game?
Outwardly, they're known to be space whalers, somewhat nomadic, very at home in space. They're known to have lots of AI and cyborgs in their ranks. They're very distinctly known for being ritualistically tattooed. Any like full member or active member of the Phi covered in tattoos of their achievements of their life. On the more notorious side, they also have a reputation for piracy, although that's more of an open secret that people don't really talk about out of politeness.
Oh, okay. So probably the first thing I would mention is the piracy. No. I think I'm a little bit clueless. I don't think I'm actively like I think, yeah, I think Fidey is more
gonna get himself
unaware
shot
of
again.
Yeah, I think I didn't quite catch that. Could you repeat that, please?
I said Fidey's gonna get himself shot again for that one.
I mean, very likely if they like insist that like they're we're just whaling cargo. We're just whaling loose cargo that we ripped up a ship for or whatever, and it's just we don't do any violence, and that is going to be an issue. But if they're like, yeah, we're pirates, we just rather people don't talk about it.
For some context, you are currently on Canala 6 refueling station in 0609, which is obviously the homeworld 0609.
Yeah, So what?
You're in the
what
same system as the homeworld, so you will have seen a lot of heavily cybernetic and tattooed individuals. You'll have seen a lot of fire on this station.
Yeah, there's probably some in the station right now, right? Oh,
Yeah,
in
it's
the shortcut, right?
majority fire. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We've probably there's probably how rare are the bracks? Or is there actually some in like this short cake place already, or no?
Yeah, you've probably seen a few bracks around. Not uncommon.
Okay. I have a pun ready, and I'm gonna have to say it at the least opportune time. Some of you already know what it is. We're gonna need to arrange a Brexit.
So where are you all? Are you still just sat in the slamming shortbread as you have this planning conversation and information discussion?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool.
The other thing to bear in mind is that whilst removing the captain ourselves, the admiral ourselves, may be something that we could do, I would argue it should be a lower priority instead of just getting or persuading or somehow otherwise getting the crew to remove him themselves, because in the eventuality where we do remove him from the ship, there's every possibility that the crew themselves will choose not to jump ahead without him.
So
is this that? Reamer's like, that is where his incompetence will be nice to engineer.
here's our timeline as I see it. We have 4 days to try and get info or otherwise get the crew to turn on him. And if we do not do that, and then our cutoff point where we need to go violent and put the guy in a sack is 4 days as well. At which point we need to get him off at Dacia, because any other point is when we're gonna need to fight a lot of burly, heavily augmented whalers. And like I point to a guy who's like shoving strawberry shortcakes in his mouth, like right next to the booth. And I do not want to fight like 50 of those guys. No offense, sir.
Reamer looks at it's like, maybe we could bait them with strawberry shortcakes.
None taken, Linkless.
I'm down
Reamer's
for more strawberry.
It seems like, well, from my viewpoint, it seems like Chandler's strawberry shortcakes is probably made of an addictive substance, very susceptible to the whalers on the ship. Maybe we should bring some for a level of bribery.
Have you even tried it? You've just done the gingerbread thing. And she pushes like the fourth one she ordered over. Just try it.
Reamer eats it with a straight face. It's good. But there's no massive reaction for him.
People are just too straight.
yeah. Reamer probably eats it like a psychopath. Just eats it straight, staring straight into your eyes.
Well, I feel like she's on the. Cincinnus is like on the she just eats sugar and fruit. That's really all it is. She survives on sugar and fruit and occasionally mushrooms.
Reamer does not have a sweet tooth. Hence why he's doing ginger. Spices are better for him. Gingerbread.
Not bad.
Okay, so kind of to review, I think our first plan is to try to get all social up on his ass, and if that fails, we put him in a sack and take him off at Dacia 4 days in. Is that all correct? Is there any additional preparation or information we need to get before we get on the ship?
We'll acquire some strawberry shortbread. Seems to be very popular.
Yeah.
Down for that part of the plan.
Yeah, we can use it to eat it.
Slamming shortbread is a franchise. There are many across Beacon space. So it's probably not your first time in one. Chandler's in particular is very good, though.
It's the added ingredient, bleed energy.
He was like, "Would actually with that?" He's like, "Would any shortbread any establishment make the equal quality of strawberry shortbread, or is this establishment higher quality than most?"
It's good. It's.
I mean, he's asking everyone else what their opinions are.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I like this. This is my first time in this one, and I don't like if I knew there was one of these on the TTIG, I'd probably be there more than the Oasis. So
The one that attempted to open up on Helositis got attacked by some of the local wildlife.
yeah, I can see that delaying thing.
I don't think it has the same effects on Quilton biology to get as clearly appreciative as cinches of them.
Okay. I think we're kind of.
Ready to head to the ship. You got a plan in place?
Yeah, I think the only thing we could do is maybe like ask around about the ship and its possible reason for making the route, just so we're informed before we actually hit there. But beyond that, I think we're done. I don't think I'll do any additional information gathering myself because I'm all information gathered out from my excellent and useful attempts earlier. By the way, how much is? I guess we'll find out. Do I have enough time for a 1 hour recovery roll? I assume. Do I have enough time for a 10-hour one?
Oh, you can assume to be. Oh, right. You have spent some points.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it depends on yourselves. The ship is setting off within the day, but if you take an hour to get there, you take an hour to get there. It's kind of up to yourselves.
Isn't the first one actually very quick?
So we're playing with homebrew rule where you can take any of the three in any given order. So the action, 10 minutes and 1 hour. You can take those three in any order you want. Obviously, the 10-hour one ends the day, so it can't really be taken out of order. But
okay,
I guess we could do the hour one, and whilst I suppose some of them are whilst Fidey is resting and maybe Cinch is eating more, we can maybe ask around about the ship.
cool.
That's for recovering HP, right?
Yes. Yep. That's right.
Okay. But our pool should be maxed out, right? Because
They should be. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fidey spent some.
Yeah, I was untouched last mission, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Double check. Yeah, I believe I was not harmed at all. Yeah, my damage is
if
nothing.
anyone wants to spend XP or spend money, and this is a free agent hub. It's not as big as the CTGI station, but it is a free agent access to what the Penumbra calls human resources, which are, merchants, people with specific skills. If you wanted to hire muscle, this would be a place to do it, or hire a brain boy, this would be a place to do it.
You know what I'd really love? Is there like a pre-trained neural network algorithm that allows for pictures of that allows to interpret Tahora Y tattoos into legible whatever I speak?
Tattoos?
Yeah.
I think for that you might need an art degree.
No, it's like the future of sci-fi. There's definitely and they have like all sorts of AI amongst them. There's definitely like maybe not freely available, but there's definitely some asshole who's already pre-trained a dumb AI to do this thing.
Well, going off the tattoos of the to horrify part of the wiki,
Yep.
not so much.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they are greatly mixed. You can certainly like find an Icaros to horrify language translator, but you presumably already have that.
So what I'm getting, the tattoos aren't heavily like formalized. It's more like very interpretive and symbolic, and it's
They're deeply
difficult.
personal.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And they are also non-species specific. So while we say tattoo to a human, that's ink under skin. To another member of their species, that might be embedded pheromones, or it might be a certain noise signature over part of their skin. It depends on the species.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, you can, if you go on the To Horrify wiki page and look at the tattoo section, you can have known that in the hour that you have. You can have looked up, hey, what's all these tattoos about? You know how to roll for that. It's kind of common knowledge about the To Horrify.
Okay. I guess I technically can't, not within this hour, because all I'm doing is resting.
Right. I think reading Beacon Space Wikipedia is too stressful, but
Yeah, it's a free action, you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah, no, Cinch is definitely probably just gonna like snack on a couple more of these things that are supposed to be bought for briberies and hang out with Spidey.
Reamer, who's pretty quick, snatches one out of your hands. Reamer's like, we can't compromise the mission by indulging on our supply.
Yes, we can.
But
You guys want to put him in a sack anyways.
Oh, Whittle,
If-
do you have your ship on station?
Sure, don't see why not.
Okay, cool. Just checking.
So, yeah.
Should we attach Whittle's, like, I guess not, like, I don't know. Seems like, is there a way to get Whittle's ship to our, backup drop-off point so we have a way to get out of there, or just have to find our way from there?
All ships need like running crew, right? So whoever's doing that for you can probably get that done. Or am I remembering things wrong?
No, you're remembering right. Flying a ship by yourself isn't really something that gets done. Fighter craft, sure, but a spaceship, no.
So you just tell your number 2 to go there. The laugh was in character.
yeah, Reamer's like, okay, let's head off then.
Yeah, are you taking like an Interhex shuttle? Are you taking Whittle's ship? How are you transferring yourself to the cargo vessel?
I think taking a shuttle just for a cover story might be better, unless we basically don't care.
It
Yeah,
will probably be best not to have the ship we arrive in be identifiable as mine.
Sure. All right. You can grab a shuttle to the Tangaroa. It's like the equivalent of public transport. The cost is negligible, absorbed into the operating funds that all free agents are capable of existing in the universe. They are able to travel within this hex without issue. Make your way over to the cargo station that the Tangaroa is docked at, and you're able to find the ship.
Oh, before we do that real quick, I think there was like two things that we wanted to do. One is like a slightly lower priority of learning what someone was on point for that. I think finding out as much as possible about the ship before we actually get there, and
Right.
the highest priority possible is how much is a Brack-sized sack?
Gotcha. Bracks are pretty small, so 250 hell for a
Okay.
sack that could hold a Brax made of like hemp or some other woven material.
I'm gonna buy a synthetic one, please. Do you think I'm an animal?
Sure, you can have a synthetic sack.
Cool.
And yeah, in the time that Feide has been reading about horrified tattoos on Beacon Space Wikipedia and recovering, someone can have been studying up on the ship. Sure.
Yeah, I think Whittle asked around a little bit.
Sure. What kind of person are you looking for when you're looking around?
Probably like a technician, someone who would work in like where ships are docked.
Sure, looking for like a dock master.
Yeah.
Sure. You're able to meet on the Canala 6 refueling station a gentleman by the name of Cobathrax. I'll post in Roll20. Works as the dockmaster for Canala 6 refueling station. You would note that he is a Grum, which is a reptilian species. Native to this hex.
Okay. I think she would use her now newly free spin identity to introduce herself as, "Oh, hello. You see, I'm a ship enthusiast, and so I've been looking at some of the ships in the local system, and I was wondering if you could tell me about some of them."
You have you? Well, I can tell you about the ships if that is what you want to know. It is rather boring, but I do love a conversation.
Oh, indeed, it's really all very interesting seeing all the different variety and how it differs from where I'm from. It's so different there. But yes, I was looking at these particular ships, and then she'll like maybe like drop point out one random ship, maybe two, before then moving on to be like, oh, and this one over here, and pointing out the Tangaroa.
Madame, I appreciate that you perhaps do not operate out of this particular hub very often, but I am aware of the Penumbra, and you're not getting information out of me for free. There is an economy here. Knowledge is power and all.
I see. And what exactly are you asking for?
Grease my palm, and I will tell you any information about any ship that has passed through this hex. It is it is the resource that I provide for the agents here.
She will offer up 200 howl for information.
Yeah, he grabs it, looks at it with a little bit of an eye roll, but puts it away. Goes,
The Tangaroa is docked at a nearby cargo station, although I presume you knew that part already. Recently received a new admiral, I'm led to believe. Cargo vessel. Done the same route a few circuitous times over the last year or so. Is there anything more specific I can tell you?
What? Do you have any information on the cargo it carries?
Absolutely. That is part of my job, import, export. The primary cargo region. There are some concerns about the materials origin. Would have had a flag about it already. Probably the precious metals are common enough. Well, aside from being precious.
Of course. Of course. And what kind of weaponry does
They
the
are a cargo vessel, but they are well armed and ventral cannons that fire a shell with a core, the center of which being some form of hardened steel, the outside a biocarbonate titanium alloy, pretty common to ships of the class.
I see. And is the ship equipped with escape pods?
Should have by regulation, it should have enough for all souls aboard. Whether it has enough, I couldn't say for certain, but if you all squeeze in tightly enough. Why? Planning to destroy it and make a swift exit? I haven't seen that mission on the boards.
Not destroy it, no, but if the opportunity were to arise for us to leave more expediently, that is useful information to have.
I see. Interesting.
I think that's all the questions I have.
One last thing before you go. Word of warning, little Quettle. If you have any cybernetics, I do advise that you don't have them on display when you go to that ship. I've heard stories. They are... I don't know what is on planet A, but the circular route is certainly degrading the crew's morale.
I see. Well, thank you for the information. I'll be sure to keep you in mind if I'm ever in need of similar.
Information is like cargo.
If you say so.
yeah.
I think he makes a quick exit of that.
Yeah. Finch has probably gone looking for her after having her hand slapped by Rimmer a couple of times. Just kind of like goes around looking for find anything and talks about what she finds out.
Whittle will definitely relay to the rest of the crew. And he did also mention that if we have any, as the briefing would suggest, if we do have any cybernetics, it's best not to display that.
Does anyone here have cybernetics out of interest?
Rumor is he's just biologically manufactured.
Yeah, children of the vein are kind of antithetical to machine enhancement.
I mean, not yet. We'll get there. Possibly.
No, she's good with computers, but Cinch doesn't have any installed.
I mean, the most technological thing he has is phone, which is also on his wrist.
Yeah.
So not cybernetics per se.
Oh, and
Whittle
real
is
quick,
very fleshy.
before we move on, we can probably source it on the ship if needed. But again, for our plan B or even C, if we need to make a quick exit, just in case, does everyone have a vac suit?
I don't.
Yeah.
And I just
No.
paying my my fees made it over. I'm under 1,000 to buy one. Some kind of discount. So I think actually rumors like actually I should just do this in game. Rumors like it's like that would have been proven very useful in my last mission. Unfortunately, I do not have the funds for a typical price of a vac suit.
We might be able to source them on that mining vessel, possibly. But yeah, it's a good thing to have.
It just kind of turns to Whittle, like, now we're spacewalking. Wait, wouldn't, if we were like spacewalking or needing a vac suit, then don't we need a vac suit for the bug so he doesn't die?
Good point.
Your synthetic sack is not vacuum sealed. No.
Oh, I love that answer, and I love that you knew that I was going to ask it.
Rumors like let's make using needing the vac suit evacuation plan the catastrophic plan.
Yeah, like that's like
Because
I've got an environment suit. Is that the same thing or no?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay, you've got one. I don't want to use it, but I've got one.
Yeah, I kind of have a vac suit and do want to use it, but again, this is like plan C.
This be Plan Z.
I mean, not necessarily. I think Plan Z is like trying to get the guy on a Tahora Y controlled planet, and then getting shot as soon as we leave through the doors into the Tahora Y controlled planet. That is Plan Z for me.
Like, slightly less afraid of the Tahora Y than I am of space. We're dying or going into space.
Space is fine. It's mostly nothing. Tahora Y is mostly muscle and bullets. Or
Yes,
no, I don't know. Space harpoons. What do they do here? How do they wail? What's like what's like the, I don't know, semantic equivalent of a harpoon in space?
If you're talking about the Concord of Mutual Disdain, they literally have harpoons in space.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure Ziegler has a harpoon.
Oh yeah, we definitely
does.
see.
Ziegler has a Concord personal harpoon device that's supposed to be mounted to a small vehicle, but
well, at this point, he's kind of the size of.
But Ziegler is a small vehicle, so that's fine.
Exactly.
Okay. In the effort of saving time, get on this ship already.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go.
Okay. We transfer using your ship, I believe, right?
And
I think as we settled on.
It's in system
space bus, yeah.
transport.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. In system. Yeah. We just take a public
bus.
transport.
Yeah.
Space bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it. We get on the space bus. Good thing we have a monthly card.
Yeah. Well,
It's,
as part of
uh,
being in the Penumbra, like day-to-day costs
Yeah.
are not something we worry about.
A
It's
fringe benefit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna like get on and give him an evil look.
Yeah, so you make your way to a smaller station. Calling it a station is a bit generous, really. It's kind of
Satellite.
yeah, there's a very small atmospheric area, and then lots of docking arms, and it's a cargo haul unhaul location in orbit of the main planet, and you can find the ship there. The Tangaroa.
Can you describe it?
Sure. It's as appears in Roll20. It's quite large. Has two large ventral thrusters. Has a main body and a long neck to command compartment. The main body being presumably the cargo compartment, and the head being where all the command staff are.
Where are all the exits on it?
Exits are located here,
yeah.
here, and here.
There are 6 life pods in a command compartment.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Each life pod, if it was a ascent ship, would hold 4 people.
Okay, but okay.
I thought the crew was like, I had like 28.
I said 20 to 25.
All right.
Remer's like, time to get on. I doubt you want me speaking to them.
Your cover was just...
give it your best shot.
Oh, sorry. All right. Our cover was being cargo, right?
Your cover was just passengers. You'd booked yourselves on as the equivalent of shipping yourself in a package.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. Then
we're a package deal. I think our cover story is like we're surveyors and we're like this is like is it whatever, we're surveyors and this is the best route that we could find to planet A.
He's like, Remer's like, let's get on and start seeing what our environment's like.
Yeah, Whittle would know and presumably tell the rest of you that the Tangaroa is on a circular path between Telas and Planet A, stopping at 0609 each time. So you've caught it in its return journey.
Right.
On this cycle that it continually does.
Remer's like, let's make sure to fold the sack in an inconspicuous spot.
It's just a sack. Folding it inconspicuously just makes it more conspicuous.
Yeah. It does specifically say Brack-sized written in big letters on it. No. Big $sign. Swag bag. Yeah, so you're able to navigate this cargo location and find Tangaroa. You find its entry ramp extended to the small atmospheric hub, which is like the size of a larger bus station. Like it has a bunch of maybe 8 or 9 airlocks to the various ships. Very busy and kind of crowded in the atmospheric area, but you're able to get off your public transport into this busy, central station, and then find your way over to the correct airlock. The press of people are all the different species of Tahara Phi, lots of humans. Fidey, you probably spot at least one Icarosian in the crowd, which is
Gazelle, human, or third, I don't remember.
Gazelle.
Sweet.
Yeah, probably see at least one space gazelle. You see one of the goo creatures, the bright, vivid pink silicate gel, the sapient, and within beacon space, probably see at least one of those, but mostly the species of the Tahara Phi. or at least the species native to 0609. And yeah, you make your way over to the airlock, presumably.
Yup.
Yeah. Thinks that
sure.
Cinch is feeling pretty at home, and she just like wanders through the crowd.
Oh, who's taking point on the social? Cinch, right?
Yeah. Okay. So, I'll just lead us up to the correct airlock.
Whittle is standing by, ready to assist.
Excellent.
Reamer is behind all you when having to talk to people.
I'm right next to Cinch, ready to help.
Yep, Reamer's all in the back. He's keeping an eye out for your backsides.
Excellent. Yeah, this is
Sure.
just like
I'm here to
5-0.
help with. I'm here to help with all social interactions. That's in character, by the way.
This just looks like that's like a threat coming from you sometimes, dude.
Reamer's like, I'm here to harm every social interaction.
I feel like Riomor is a lot like Feide, just more honest and straightforward.
I think he's more aware that he's terrible at the social interaction. Feide just thinks he's good at.
No, Feide is semi-aware. He just kind of revels in it. Like you know, like the detective trope of like, yeah, I know I'm an asshole, but you can't help but put up with me, and that makes it all the sweeter.
As you, sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say she's just gonna bounce up to the airlock, looking like she doesn't belong anywhere. And then these like three, very obvious. I think three people following her.
At the airlock, just above head height, you see a strigo, which is they look like similar to a squid. We've got a long main body in kind of an ovaloid shape. Although in the center of this ovaloid shape for this particular strigo is a recessed, large, kind of dish oval-shaped recessed face. Kind of looks like the shape of a radar dish or like a satellite dish. And recessed within this is the beak and the eyes and the nose of this creature. It has anywhere, maybe it's hard to get an exact count unless you stand there and count, but 15, 16 glass-like tentacles that are extending. It's floating off the deck plate. Its tentacles wraps around the top side of the door and is waiting at the airlock.
Just kind of like walk up, kind of sort of half under it. It's like, hey there, handsome, are you all right?
You hear back a sequence of clicks and whistles, which after a second displays both from a speaker attached to a metal belt at the bottom of its body, and if you have any kind of translation or interpretation device on you, which I would guess most people in Beacon Space do, it appears in text too. I appreciate your compliment in my appearance. I am Hostess Lahua of the Tangaroa. May I be of assistance?
Yeah, me and my survey crew here booked passage to Planet A.
Let me check my notes. Two of the tentacles flip down from the roof of the building, transparent and see-through. They crawl down the side of the wall to the side panel of the door, tap a few buttons. Welcome. Yes, you are booked on the cargo trip all the way through to, tell us then, Planet A, and then back to 0609. You are more than welcome. Is this all of you?
Yep, Just the four of us.
Just the four of you. That's strange. I had passage booked for 5. I will alter my... Boop, 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 boop. There you go. You can enter when ready.
Finch is a little bit mesmerized by this creature. It's never seeing one before, but pulls herself away and says thank you and heads in.
We give her a single strawberry shortcake as we go.
Yes.
Yeah, a glass-like tentacle will reach out and curl around it in your hand and draw it into the beak. It'll click and whistle, and I appreciate the gift.
I just kind of head into the ship.
Does Remor have any reaction to like this strawberry shortcake consumption? Because this was like his whole idea, right?
Yeah, he takes a hard look at the host and to see the reaction. He's trying to see if there's a positive or negative reaction from the strawberry shortcake.
How good? I feel at like reading squid facial reactions. I wonder.
Terrible. He's attempting to use his knowledge of xenobiology of standard xenobiology to like figure it out.
You can observe under the skin, although it's hard to see in the bright artificial light of this kind of hub, that underneath the skin, bioluminescent lights are flickering in a happy pattern. It's enjoying the sweetness and the sugar.
Mm-hmm. He takes a notice. He's like,
Just turn to him and be like, "I told you it was good."
I love this moment. Okay.
I guess
There's probably equal amount of crumbs falling to the deck plate underneath the creature as there are actually ending up in its beak.
Like a little brokenhearted. It's just what a waste. So is there anyone to greet us to show us where to go, or do we just kind of wander around to find where we're supposed to stay? Or read signs?
It's an airlock, so it's like a straight walk into the back of the ship.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we just met a creature, right? So if we had any relevant directions,
All right.
the square will give to us.
And as you're walking along the airlock, out of windows, you can see, if you look out underneath in the vacuum of space, a larger transitway in which cargo would be loaded or unloaded. Though in this case, there's no cargo being loaded or unloaded from the ship, but there are fuel lines, coolant lines. You can see refuse being taken off and food supplies being brought on. It seems to be a restock and reload rather than transfer of cargo.
The cargo's probably already on. Cool. Then just kind of heads in, meanders about, looking for crew quarters or where they're supposed to stay, or anyone else to talk to.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, and in terms of what I'm seeing, like there's nothing out of the ordinary for this, like just being a regular mining ship, right? At least so far.
So far, yeah. So you all walk into the ship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Can everyone make a perception test for me? Difficulty 7.
Would you say that this difficulty test involves noticing danger?
Sure.
Excellent. I have an inability in that.
There you go.
Can I reduce that 7 with my assessing the situation?
You certainly can. Yep.
Excellent.
Would a medical sensorium? No, it's like heat to me, isn't it? This one, so no, it wouldn't help at all.
Medical sensorium would actually help. Yep.
Okay. So that's difficulty.
Yeah, I don't think botany or xenobiology is going to help here, right? So, or biology.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll just roll normal. I don't think
5D, you're also trained in perception.
Yep.
difficulty 7.
Yeah,
No effort to the roll.
This is
Fail.
basically difficulty 3 to me just because of all the assets that I have and constantly use.
Difficulty 3 to you.
4 assets, right?
How do
gonna
you have
apply an
4
effort.
assets?
Medical sensorium, all
So
the
that's
scanning
1.
equipment, scanning equipment that is constantly going
Scanning
off.
equipment doesn't help you.
Dang.
Does not.
No.
Really? Okay, fine.
Yep.
So like then the medical sensorium, fine. The perception, finding or noticing small details, or identifying objects or calling to mind.
Neither of
if
those help.
Wow.
Weird. Okay, so I have 2. So this is default 5 for me. It's
Yep.
strange that that doesn't, but okay, whatever. I'll just use like raw intellect because I barely ever use intellect for anything. That's my highest pool now. And now efforts twice. So
I
this
mean,
is
Lich can confirm that those skills would not help with what this is.
yeah. That's fine. I trust you. So default of 5, and I'm gonna effort twice. Come on. Okay, fine. So whatever this was that we don't notice, we don't notice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different people would probably have had an easier time of noticing it, but yourselves, not so much. Yeah, you enter onto a metal gangway above a cargo area. As you walk along, you can see below down in the cargo area, you can see crates of various size and design. Many of them appear to be standardized cargo containers, just from different cultures' idea of standardization. You see laborers shifting materials. Seems to be some kind of android or autonomous being who's directing everything within the cargo container. And yeah, as you continue along the gangway, you find yourself heading towards the neck of the ship, towards the mod commander area.
So these guys don't like cyber enhancements, but they do have robots doing stuff.
So Tahorify, which this is a Tahorify ship, are largely to a person cyborg. They have a bunch of implants. So it's very unusual that they are having issues with cybernetics.
Okay.
Sorry, this feels like an important point, but important key detail. But I kind of was adjusting my points and missed it. Could you repeat what it is that we saw, like this outsiding thing?
Sure. What you saw is a cargo area with laborers and an android or other autonomous artificial being, or someone so augmented that there is no visible humanity, directing all of the cargo containers moving around. And the point that Cinch brought up was, hey, I thought they were having issues with cybernetics, with which I confirmed, yes, the Tahorify are largely cyborg. They have elements of a collective mechanical hive mind.
And this looks like does this look like a Port Authority thing where they're just like does interaction seem like it's between like within crew or with a crew and like an outside agent?
This is the crew.
Okay. So we need to find out who the probably it's or augmented guy. And if no one else does it, I'm gonna just go and shout at the android, hey, who are you?
From like the gangway up above?
No, this is just straight up stupid. I'm not gonna do that now. Maybe later.
You
Just
can
no.
probably
no.
find a ladder down to the main cargo deck if that's where you wanted to go.
Mm,
Like wheelies are hard to maneuver on a ladder. Are wheelies hard to maneuver on a ladder?
Not necessarily. Like you're not really using your heel very much when you're going down a ladder. It's like the ball of your foot more.
You will also all notice as you're walking along that the gravity is about 0.6 of normal, which 0.6 of Earth normal, which for some of you is more of a change than others. A lot of places have artificial gravity set to 1 of Earth normal, which is the same as Telos normal for our universe's sake. But yeah, if you're used to 1, then this is a significant decrease of gravity.
God, I love this so much.
So like I could like literally be bouncing.
Yeah, you can
Nice.
be hop skipping along as if moonbound. Yeah,
That's awesome. Totally doing that the entire time.
cool.
I think, like, almost on instinct, like Whittle kind of adopts a kind of. It seems she's not like actually swimming, but like her movements seem more like she's swimming than normal walking.
Reamer would just be he's randomly just walking as normal as you can get in this lower gravity. Well, everyone else seems to have shifted. He seems to be trying to maintain the same walking manner.
I tried to wall run and fall on my side. Not too painfully, I assume, but still, like, I have like some experience with lowered gravity, but most of my work is like planet bound, so mostly in transit, not much active operation.
Not at all harmfully, but somewhat inevitably and comically slowly.
Yeah. I mean, 0.6 isn't that low. I don't think. So it's still like relatively fast, but it's still like kind of this and like misjudging my center of mass entirely. Even though I never take off my sensor kit, so I should be used to it. But even so, I kind of spin awkwardly out of control, like kind of land on my side, but not even on the side that I was facing the wall. I continue spinning and land on the other side.
Cool.
I mean, the opposite of that, but yes, thank you.
I mean, cool roleplay. I think as you walk along the gangway and the neck of the ship, which takes a few minutes, especially in the reduced gravity, I think we cut to mid-session break as the doors to the bridge slide open.
This week on Kangaroo Court, did slippery celebrity defendant BBTV anchor L. Calvert conspire to poison the prosecution? Watch now on Kangaroo Court, where good justice is never blind. Fair and balanced, only on BBTV 5. Brought to you by the New Eden Gene Bank. Be a better you.
Hello. And welcome to Beacon Broadcast Tonight. We are back with more breaking news from across the sector with your fabulous host, myself, Xavier, and...
I'm Lupus Kelbrecht. On tonight's broadcast, we bring you all kinds of reports, and has been the case for the last couple of weeks, we apologize for any transmission errors. The Strovacaro comet that impacted into Telos recently still leaves rippling effects on data transmission throughout Center 0909 sector.
That's right, but hopefully our show today goes off without a hitch. I myself am reporting from Gome, where the 372nd Automacon is set to start very soon. The Ogmala Syndicate have gone all out for this year's convention, and I can't wait to see the crazy tasks automated this year. Grape peeling? Grape peel art? Who knows what it'll be next. How's your past month in your apartment been, Lupus?
Oh, well, it's been fine. If only I could find that pink folder that's gone missing, life would be better. But enough about me. The sector's favourite reporter, Chaz Gusto Prime, is back with a new report this month, as every month.
Can't wait to see what the Children of the Maid correspondent will inform us of this month. And other news, Project Anaziti? Internal documents leaked to the BBTV from the Ogmala Syndicate mention this codename. What is it? I hope to find out more while covering the Automacon.
The assembled Commonwealth today, in further news, announced the Aether Reach, a full presentation later in the broadcast.
And after Gome, I'll be heading into Faye space to investigate reports of a ruin in the sector. We'll be hoping to have some reporting by the end of this broadcast today.
And finally, tensions rising in Center 0909. Do you feel safe? You shouldn't. Really. Be anxious. Do not be calm. Panic, even. I'm terrified. I can't leave. Please, flee if you can.
We'll be back to Beacon Broadcast tonight after a word from our sponsor, the New Eden Gene Bank. Be a better you.
Become healthier. Become stronger. Become smarter. Become better. At New Eden Gene Bank, we offer plans and opportunities for people like you who want to break their limits and rise to new heights. Visit your local branch today for a consultation. New Eden Gene Bank. Be a better you. Proud sponsors of BBTV.
Yeah, as we cut in, Admiral Jonah Finch is already in 5D sack and all running away. No. We cut in from the mid-session adverts. This time it's, come on down to Willie's Carpet Emporium. We have carpets of every type. Red, blue, yellow, every carpet you could ever need. Sponsoring free agents.
Reamer rolls eyes. They're quite low quality. Surprisingly low quality.
I mean, depends on the resolution of that carpet.
Yeah, so we cut in, the bridge opens, and the first thing you hear is angry yelling. Yeah. Chemo, I told you to have that at a certain temperature, and why is it 15 degrees below that? Honestly, I'm surrounded by incompetence. Kiana, get your ass over here before I have words to say. You see a very red-faced reptilian creature with vestigial wings stood in traditional white and black captain's hat with a gold anchor on the front of it, stood in the middle of the bridge yelling at everybody else.
And Jenna turns to Whittle very quietly. This might not be so hard to get him to turn on the crew. Or get the crew to turn on him.
I like that guy.
They'll make friends, Fighty.
Next to the lithe and almost dragon-like Brax at the center of the bridge, there sits one of the larger reptilian creatures that you've seen around, a Grum. And then running up to the captain, you see, let me take a look at the description for this. Running up to the captain, you see, well, I say running, it's more like slithering. You see a curved Nautilus shell-esque creature, leaving a trail behind it on the deck plate. And it has 2 arms that extend and indicate and do some form of sign language towards to the Brex in the center of the room. He goes, "Well, that's just not good enough. Work them harder." It squirms off back the way it came.
Oh, does the captain seem augmented?
Yes, yeah. The captain has arm augments. His vestigial wings seem to have some kind of brace installed. Has a cranial implant that's fairly prominent.
Whittle tries very hard not to drool as the Nautilus creature
Ooh.
slithers away.
I am not Sinch's player, but like as soon as I heard cranial implant and given the context of our overall mission, that's a route.
Hack the
Good
captain.
pickup.
Hack the brain. Hack the
Captain.
brain.
Hack the brain.
How easy is cyber? How easy are cyber augmentations to hack? By the way, I assume it's like a fairly high priority in terms of security for any manufacturer.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the augment because to hack something you have to interface with it, and it's like asking if you can hack someone's pacemaker. I guess technically, but very difficult to get access to it to hack it in the first place.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like it has more functionality than a pacemaker. It has a lot more functions. So probably there's at least like a USB port somewhere, probably with a lid on it or something that you can jam a USB stick in for firmware updates.
It's not impossible, but it's like asking how difficult is it to remove someone's fingernails. Like, yeah, it's pretty easy.
If
But,
you have
you know-
them tied down and you're using pliers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can hack a cranial implant. It's just,
Reamer sits
the
there.
actual
and
hacking isn't the most difficult part.
Reamer sits there and looks around to like the other. Like, we see the captain. Do we see like his other officers nearby?
So you see, sat next to him in what is presumably either the first or third officer's console is the Grum, the large reptilian creature, the lizard, and the Nautilus shell that's crawling away. And you see on a separate station. Let me just swap to a map to give you a better idea. Let's have a look. This isn't exactly what it looks like, but it helps for our point of view. So if you disregard the left-hand side of this map and just take this this area, you have the captain at the center console. You have the reptilian on the left-hand side, and then on this console, you see a human.
Right. So these are officers, right?
Presumably so. Yeah, they are adorned as such. They're on the bridge. That is a completely reasonable inference to make. Yeah.
Okay. I wish we had like an org chart. It's because we're trying to possibly trying to incite a mutiny. It would be relevant. For some reason, I'm kind of having a difficulty of like tracking
I think
all of them mentally.
You can make
we were
one.
trying to, yeah. Well, we were trying to whisper to you guys like, do any of his? It's like, dude, there's. It's like I may not be as diligent in noticing, but do any of his officers seem to be complying with his more strict demands?
Oh, cool.
They also vaguely remember Whittle saying something about a morale issue. Starting to figure out why. I'm kind of looking around, everyone seems upset with this captain. But it's really trippy to just see like the words appear. So should probably give a little cough and try very hard to avoid the slime trail that's in front of us, and just go to introduce herself to the captain or admiral, I guess.
Yep.
You do see a cleaning robot emerge from a vent and follow behind the slime trail, cleaning it up.
Oh, good. Admiral Finch, was it?
Jonah Finch.
Jonah Finch. Oh, we are the survey crew that you're taking, and I'm just curious about bridge operations. Since you
Bridge operations? Your cargo! Get back in the compartment with all the other stuff.
We're a survey crew. Fine.
Yeah, you didn't pay for first class, did you?
It was an option, or would have.
Reamer exclaims there was an option for
The reptilian creature to his left looks over to you quite apologetically. Just kind of gives you a slight shrug.
I'm gonna egg the captain on. I think he clearly thinks his crew is incompetent and terrible at doing their job. So I'm gonna say, well, we were directed here by one of your crew. This isn't cargo. We were told.
What of my crew? Was it that Strigo that I have outside?
You know, one of the guys with the tattoos.
Oh, very funny. We all have tattoos. Right. I mean, stay out of our way and you can... I don't know.
I was not making a joke. I was just playing up like a clueless guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's his reaction to it.
But okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of notices Whittle staring at the Nautilus shelled creature. I'm thinking might be a good way to get to know somebody.
You've paid for passage on this ship, but the margins are tight. Don't be going out of the way to make yourself a nuisance, or I will eject you and refund.
Oh my god! This laugh is in character. I think. I think I just start laughing uncontrollably.
Reamer's like that. Reamer's like, I believe you missed something in the proper functioning of commerce.
The proper functioning of commerce? I am an admiral of a cargo ship of Elena Fiaffa. I know commerce.
Really?
Yes, really. And if you don't mind, we're setting off. Get in your acceleration bench, or don't become a smear on the floor.
Acceleration bench? And looked around for this and just where is this?
The reptilian creature sat next to him goes, I hate to admit it, but he is right. There's chairs along the back you can strap in.
Reamer tries to locate the chairs and wanders over there while thinking to himself.
Finch is starting to like the reptilian creature. But she follows Rimmer.
Before we go, I'd like to give I'm fairly obvious that I'm always doing this, so I don't know if there would be any sort of reaction, but I would like to scan for the room for any physiological responses. Is there anyone showing signs not of embarrassment or feeling bad about it, but actual repressed anger at the captain here. I'm looking for anyone who's like not necessarily like the nicest guy or the most apologetic guy, but who's like fuming under the hood, possibly. Is there anyone like that here?
I don't think your sensor equipment detects anger.
No, but it can. But it can detect through connection through the medical sensorium, possibly physiological markers of anger.
Sure. Give me just, let's say, intellect 4.
Okay. So with the survey equipment it just allows me to do this, but doesn't really contribute, right? So it mostly
Sure.
would be the sensorium.
Yeah, processing through that, sure.
Yeah, and perception, finding or noticing small details or works, right?
Sure.
Okay, so that's a default of 1. I'll just roll it flat. Oop, yeah, difficulty 1. Okay.
Yeah, all of the crew have high blood pressure.
I don't know what I was expecting, but yes, thank you for that quote unquote information.
No problem.
Is
Finch in particular is his little heart is beating way faster than it ever should.
okay? Maybe I should.
You also know that.
Like this is the thing that we should totally do. You seem like you're like under a lot of stress and like offer a strawberry shortcake to the captain.
Ooh.
And you know what a tray for the rest of the crew as well. We probably have that arranged.
Jonah Finch is clipping into his chair. He just turns to you, raises up his scaled equivalent to a nose, which is just a pair of recessed holes in the center of his kind of rounded face. I prefer savory. Onwards! And
Okay.
from your scan, you do notice that Capono, the security officer, you haven't learned their name yet, but it's Capono. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah.
Capono has diabetes.
Ooh, okay.
No sugar for him.
Yeah. And if you all strap in.
Yep.
You kick into the familiar feeling of FTL drives spooling up, and after maybe 5 to 10 minutes, the crushing acceleration is eventually handled by the ship's internal dampeners, and you're free to unclip. All of the crew start unclipping their harnesses and busying themselves.
This would be weird for any other character, I think, but I love acceleration. Can I take this to what's the term again? To recover. Can I recover for 10 minutes during the acceleration?
Absolutely. Yeah. The acceleration actually takes exactly 10 minutes.
Cool.
Yeah. There you go.
And I can split that whichever way I want, right?
Yep, you can split that 5 points across.
Good, thank you.
All right, so we have 4 days till our point of no return.
Mm-hmm. You have 2 days till Tellus, then 2 days till Dacia, then 4 days till Planet A, I believe is the schedule.
Reamer signs up, like, let's get to increasing blood pressures.
Is it Kiana or Chemo that's the reptile guy?
Chemo is the thick-set reptile.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he seems a little more sympathetic.
So just for kind of sake of abstracting this kind of social situation,
Mhm.
we can montage this out a bit. You tell me like where you are in the ship, and imagine the ship to have all the typical things you'd expect in terms of crew quarters, a mess hall, that kind of thing. Yeah, you can tell me the situation that you want to be in, and we can cut to that kind of conversation.
Before that, Rumor is like, maybe I'm not. It's like I'm not the best for talking at things, but maybe I can make things more difficult during the journey.
Yeah, definitely something you could do.
Yeah. Well, he's just seeing the rest of the crew. No, it's like, does that sound like something we could do to see if we could flare a little bit of the emotions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
And Reamer will wander in some direction he hasn't told you.
Yeah, just my point being is we don't have to stay in this scene on the bridge to talk to everybody. You can you can all tell me what you're doing, and we'll then cut to that action.
All right. After everyone gets sort of situated, Finch probably keeping her eye a bit on Chemo because he seems the most approachable so far, and she'd probably wait for him in the mess hall to strike up a conversation.
Sure. Cinch is going to speak to Chemo in the mess hall. Everyone, we'll do this by let's do this by day. So day one. So day one. Cinch is speaking to Chemo in the mess hall. What's everyone else doing?
I think I'm doing a thing that hedges between Plan A and Plan C. And we're looking for the most likely to flip, which might be Chemo, right? But for me, the most important hindrance would probably be the armed security, or however much there is. So I'm gonna try and talking would be terrible, but that's probably what or at least I'm like getting a sense, scanning and whatever so on of the security apparatus here.
Sure. I'll give you a rundown of the people you have to interact with.
Mhm.
You have Admiral Jonah French, the Brex. You have First Officer Chemo. You have Cargo Specialist Kiana. You have Security Officer Capono, the diabetic. You have Hostess Lahua, who is the squid from outside. And you have Chief Engineer Ford, who is the android / robot / whatever, you're not sure, from the cargo bay.
Okay. Could we get a list of them with their specialty somewhere in chat, please?
Sure, absolutely. I will get it into Roll20 in a second.
Okay. So yeah, I think my main interests are Capono and possibly Chief Engineer. And I'm gonna try secure Objective 1 before we go for the optional one. So I'm gonna try and figure out Capono, I guess.
Any particular location that you're doing that in?
I'm gonna have a brief think of that. It's either like somewhere inoffensive or somewhere where I can get a sense of their actual security capabilities. So whoever wants
the
to
security office, maybe something like that.
Yeah, it's possibly a pirate cargo ship, so it might be a little bit more uppity, but otherwise, security people usually don't mind too much when you chat with them, because it's a lot of long hours just being bored, unless it's like unless it's super high strict and super and super relevant or on very high value assets. Security guards basically don't care.
Sure. Remo and
Oh yeah. So
Whittle.
Reamer wants to probably go to a place where he can cause a little bit of damage to the ship, enough to flare a sensor or two. That's not like a sensor going off. It's not going to kill the ship, but it's going to annoy the captain in a sense. So he's trying to find a place where he could quickly get that done and get in and out.
So Remo is doing sabotage, and Whittle.
Whittle is going to talk with Lahua, and we'll, given that they're a hostess, I guess that would be in like the crew quarters or something like that. And she would, during that attempt to use Babel to start speaking with Lahua in their native language.
Okay, sure. So, this would say this is the next day, day 1. Everyone make a difficulty 6 perception test for me, please.
Ooh.
Same rule as last time?
Exactly the same, yep.
I'm assuming binoculars won't help.
Binoculars will not help, no.
Yeah.
Look at my way. Do you find the way too?
I don't have a lot of intellect, and it will take me forever just to drop it. So yeah, it's gonna shot in the dark.
This is weird, but just in case it relates to the cargo,
I need a 20 to get this.
Does geology knowledge help?
Nope.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably can't use find the way for anything.
If you get lost in the spaceship, maybe.
Still gonna
Success.
use assessing the situation. And I'm gonna apply 2 effort. Damn it.
Cool.
Finally, my character who's built around noticing things notices the thing.
Yeah, all right. You failed the roll. Don't complain to me about it. Yeah. So, Feide, you notice that, you're made aware of for the first time that you have a growing headache, and you're finding yourself to be more irritable than usual.
Huh.
It's like you woke up an hour before you were supposed to, kind of feeling like, you're just a bit off, just a little bit grumpy, a little bit of pressure behind the eyes.
That is super. Do they have like a medical officer on board or something, or extended medical equipment?
They don't have a medical officer. They have first aid packs and no real med bay to speak of.
Great. Okay. I was gonna say I'm gonna inform like the rest of my crew, but I wouldn't, would I? The first thing I do is gonna run extensive additional tests on myself. Okay, can I pinpoint the cause of this?
Are you gonna do that today rather than speaking to Capono?
You know what? Yeah, I feel like this might take priority because it speaks to the knowing what the overall situation on the ship is, because it feels it might be related.
Okay, cool. So we'll start with Remo's sabotage. So he wanted to sabotage the comm array.
Yeah, it's something that's not that won't kill everyone, but will annoy the captain.
Sure.
He's gonna wait for a time where there's like he doesn't see anyone in there, and he knows he's a quick person. Try to quickly get in there. Using his knuckles shock the system to cause it to short a bit, and then wander away.
We'll abstract this into two roles.
Mhm.
The first one to see if you are noticed or not should be difficulty 4 speed roll.
I'm use 2 of my pool to lower the effort, right?
3
Sorry,
minus
3.
whatever edge you have.
I have 1 edge, so
there you go. Yeah, 2.
and that'll make it difficulty 3, right?
Yep, that's correct.
I might want to lower
Any other applicable skill you have?
I have running. I have skill running, jumping, climbing, swimming.
Yeah, general athleticism. Sure. Climbing probably helps in the.
So difficulty 2 then. Now.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope it goes well. Yay! 19.
Nice.
Oh. And with a minor effect, you can have an asset on the next roll, which is actually damaging the thing, which you can choose which stat it is basically by saying the method. Are you hacking? Are you attacking it? Are you brute forcing it?
You know what you should do?
Well, go say it again.
You should damage all the meals. So just connect all the means to a capsaicin dispenser.
Oh, this is more of a. I mean, I think it.
Heidi really is getting cranky.
That's not a bad thing. Damaging one of the food essentials. A reamer particularly is fine with not a lot of food, but an unfed crew is an unhappy crew. So he's going to damage the system. I think for the minor effect is that it's going to be definitely an asset for the next roll, I will say. So he's not hacking. He's more of like trying to get a quick shock in and get out type deal.
Sure. So definitely speed. Difficulty 4 again.
Okay, I'm going to
But
spend
you have
more.
the asset, so difficulty 3.
And then I'm spending more pool.
Absolutely, yeah.
So difficulty 2. Yeah. Okay. Another 19.
Sure. Yeah, it's particularly effective.
Okay. He sees that his work is done, and the minor effect will hold over to something else later. And he's gonna get out.
Yeah, absolutely. You succeed in your sabotage unseen.
He's going to try to go to where he's supposed to be, like near the mess hall and whatnot, but have his ear trying to listen to the bridge, wherever direction that is.
Sure. And as you're passing by the mess hall, perfect opportunity to cut into a little pink-haired fluff ball speaking to across from a giant lizard creature in the mess hall. So you said it was the meal system you'd affected, Remo?
Say it again?
Which system was it? The meal system or the comm system? It wasn't.
The meal system sounds like the one that'll cause the most aggravation. The comm system, inconvenience, but mid-flight. But meal system damage mid-flight is probably the worst.
Yeah, okay.
So, the meal system is sabotage.
In that case, when we cut into the crew hall, Cinch and Chemo sat at the table with trays of very unappealing slop.
And just straight up, just gonna offer him a hunk of strawberry shortcake and eat that herself.
Our bribe, I've unintentionally enhanced our bribe.
Exactly, and yeah, just kind of mention, she grew up. Her mom was a mechanic for a lot of augmented species, and I'm surprised that the captain is the only one who's augmented, and no one seems to like him all that much. is making conversation like that.
He's not the only one augmented. Pretty much every crew member you see has an augment.
I thought you said they didn't like them.
They don't.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm so confused now.
It's really unusual. You're right. Everyone on this crew has an augment, and recently they have been having lots of issues with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then we're going to change the conversation
Mhm.
and say, let them know, I picked up a lot of skills from my mom. She fixed augments for people on our station growing up. So if you're having issues, I can look at them.
So the large reptile first officer Chemo, the augments that he has visible, there's two metal bars on like the where the sharpness of cheekbones would be, just under the eyes. There's two metal bars that are visible, each with an LED in the middle, or some form of light. Yeah, he kind of grunts. Yeah. Blasted implants.
What's going on with them?
You just don't feel like my skin anymore.
Pull out my wrist computer. Would you like me to run a diagnostic on them?
I don't know if I could stand anyone touching them. Blasted things. I don't know why I ever had them put in the first place.
Well, isn't it really common for your people?
Yeah, everyone has them. Can't work out now why. My head. Jonah, it's all Jonah. He's driving us too hard. I know he will be a good captain one day. But he's not right now.
Will you last? If this is how bad you're feeling, will you last to that point of good captain? Vincent is trying to run a passive scan on him with her digital tool.
I think so. I saw him as a young officer, and he is quite skilled, even if the power has gone to his head. Sure, you can give me just a perception test, difficulty 5. What specifically are you scanning for?
I think. I want to scan for if there's any signals sort of interfering with the augment. If there's anything that's causing problems with how they're attaching to the biological portions that they're attached to.
And how are you scanning?
Well, I have my digital interface tool, which can do passive scans and can find incoming signals.
Oh, you're looking to see if there's a malicious underscore Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
2 bars. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, more or less. So what roll is that?
Difficulty 5.
Okay. Does my tool and Hack the Impossible help that?
Hack the Impossible helps. I think your tool is what's allowing you to do it in the first place.
What about assessing the situation? Does that help too?
Sure. Just spend your 3 to use Hack the Impossible.
I don't know how I got down to. I think I counted something wrong. Okay. Hey, perfect.
Yeah, you discover that the particular facial augments for chemo enhance vision and auditory senses. They're wired into his optic and auditory nerves. And you're able to tell that the implants themselves are working fine.
So it's something affecting. I think I'd show him that it's not his implants. There's something biologically wrong with him.
Maybe I just need a break.
Well, I mean, that captain is working you pretty hard. I haven't seen a captain yell at every member of his staff. Ever.
Reminds me of that celebrity chef on TTGI. What was her name? Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, maybe you're right. And break after this cycle.
Maybe put the captain on a break. I mean, he's got to be getting stressed out too.
Oh, if the crew could have a break from the captain. But
that would be a break for you.
Yeah. It's his ship, but
well, you guys run it though. I mean, where would he be without you?
It's early days. I
don't know.
I'm not sure, Cinch. It's just growing pains. Restless leg syndrome.
Well, and Cinch does like the very sweet, running her fingers along his hand comfortingly. If you need someone to talk to, I am here until Planet A.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we cut out on that. And next we can go to Fidey. Now, what do we see of Fidey?
I think like just on the little floor on the cargo bay, just like with a needle in this vein, like as many functions of the sensorium that can take, including like medium in invasive ones. He is making use of all of them, and just kind of and a paddle from the sensorium, like with all the data, like an inch away from his eyes, and with his like non needle arm, just like fiddling with the interface on the side of the sensorium, and the sensorium is just like beeping and booping.
Sure. Make a difficulty 6 intellect check for me, please.
1 second, please. Okay.
No problem at all.
So the sensorium, I assume, does have an asset. Do I have an asset from all the previous scans that I did of like the crew and so on?
You have an asset from your survey equipment this time, so that's 2 from equipment.
Okay, doke. So it's 2 from equipment. That's great. Yeah. Okay, the previous question stands. Do I have an asset from the previous information that I gathered? And that
would be another equipment, which would go over the cap.
Okay, yeah. So makes sense.
Yeah.
And
the other is that you can get a max of 2 from skills and any
Mm-hmm.
effort you apply.
Okay. So finding or perception and finding or noticing small details.
Definitely.
Cool. So that goes down to 2.
Yep.
And this literally takes a day, but I'm gonna key it off speed.
You can all use your 10-hour recovery roll as well.
Mm-hmm. And
How do I do that?
This is 2, but I kind of don't want to fail it at all. So this kind of auto succeeds, but let's see, maybe I rolled real poor. Okay, great.
Sure. So you do that by, in the top right of your character sheet, you click on where it says 10 hours, and then click on recovery at the top.
Oh, okay.
I only had the one action one left, but let's say I use it anyway. So I'm all out of recovery rolls. Oh, the 10-hour one. Yeah, no, sorry. So
Yeah, you have the 10-hour one. So you still have the one action.
Cool.
Yeah,
we heal recovery right now.
Yep, you can do the. You have time for the 10-hour recovery roll if you want to take it.
And that doesn't cost our recovery rolls. No, okay.
Yeah, the 10-hour is a recovery roll you can use. Yeah.
I have 4 points. Good thing. That's exactly how many points.
Cool. Yeah. So, Fidey, what you're able to work out is that the effect on your psyche isn't just a bad day or an uncommon mood. There's definitely an external effect playing on your emotions.
Yeah, but I suspected as much just from seeing how the crew was affected and then getting that same effect for me. Do you have any idea of what the type of the source is? Whether it's like some, I don't know, psychic interference, or there's just like lack of oxygen in the air, or something like that, and the actual source in it on the ship. Do I get any clues as to either of those two
Yes,
things?
you do. Yeah, the bleed seems to be the most likely source.
Okay, so a wizard did it. Well, okay. I'm gonna relay this information to the rest of the crew. So it's probably literally gonna be like a message. So just so you know, in case you're feeling a little bit more crappy today, it's not just like the sunny disposition of the captain. Literally, a wizard did it.
we were like, so the bleed is causing this irritation.
Yeah, I'd probably tell everyone. See, like I was able to do a passive scan on the crew, and his augments are fine. But
you know what I'm gonna do, like to Rumor's question, and I assume this is communication that we're having like through datapad, so it's literally like chat. So I'm gonna attach a zip with all of my sensor data from my from all my scans. Like, yeah, see, I did the work. It probably wouldn't really do anything for you, but like the actual message would be like, I
don't understand the biological data because he's skilled in biology.
Oh, hell yeah, you would, wouldn't you? That's sweet. Mm-hmm. So yeah, all the individual scan data for Fidey, and then it's like, yeah, I don't know crap about bleed, but rule out a bunch of other things. It's and you know. I think we go back and forth a bit.
You're say this. It does seem it does seem something of that would have caused this. It's definitely not the food, as they've been eating some more mundane objects since my interaction with the system.
So know,
their augments are all fine.
Let's cut to Whittle in the crew quarters with Lahua.
So we get that information panned to him.
Yep. Yeah, Whittle, you are in the crew quarters with a squid creature.
Yes, I am, and in the process of speaking to her, we'll attempt to use Babel to learn her native language, because especially because we're essentially doing the same thing where we have our own language, which is kind of like clicks, whistles, that kind of things, which is then translated through the voice box into actual language. But I think both from Whistle's own like clicking sounds that are you clicking and whistles, which are maybe kind of similar, and then like tinkering with her own voice box, she can like start to talk in her actual native language.
Yeah, absolutely. As Babel says, after a few minutes, you're able to pick up the basics, like trying to speak Portuguese if you already know Spanish. You're able to pick up on some of the tonal and grammatical differences. The syntax you still don't have quite right. There's a collective verb form that you're really struggling with to quite latch onto, because it's very different until you work out that part of it is due to a lot of their worldview being based on having 16 tentacles. And you're able to work out that as a result, 16 plays heavily into their culture in the same way that 10 plays into human culture. And yeah, you're able to make some progress in learning the language of the Strigo, is the species. Yeah, about 3 meters tall, wearing an anti-gravity belt. Yeah, you're able to make, unless you want to speak about something specific, you have a generic, friendly conversation with Lahua.
I think she does kind of get to the point where she is kind of being like, that captain is quite rude, isn't he?
Speaking without the intermediary of the translator. Oh my God, I know, right? He's riding up on us so hard lately. He was such a kind, and he was a junior officer. He was so nice. But now, honestly, I don't know what's come over him.
It's honestly ridiculous. I mean,
It is. I try to tell people, but they don't seem to notice how distraught I am. They don't seem to notice how distraught I am.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I think that's part of the effect of these boxes. You see, it's always nice to be able to get the full inflection when we can speak properly like this. You know.
Oh, yes, I do enjoy speaking to your people, the Quetel. Such diligent crafters. I've seen your coral jewelry, although I don't have really much of a neck to wear it upon myself.
Oh, that's very nice indeed. I'm a bit of a coral crafter myself, you see.
Are you really? That's amazing! That is quite satisfactory.
Indeed it is.
Yeah, have this conversation. Yeah, so you've had your first day of information gathering.
Before we move on to the next day, just as a character moment, I'd like to know. Rimor had like access to all of this very detailed medical and biological data about Feide. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I assume in Vane it's almost kind of ingrained to make like judgments about biological nature and such, especially from detailed data. So what would like Rimor's snap judgment of Feide as a as a set of genes, as a biological specimen, what would his judgment be, and would he share that?
He will not share it, and in his eyes, since he's not as he's not a researcher kind, he's just gonna say seems in his mind seems typical. There's nothing crazy about it.
Typical. I mean,
Yep.
Which is what I would say if you had shared your opinion.
Yeah.
If you didn't.
Yep. He's internally, because he says it seems typical. Genome, but he's not like he's not as a researcher like a lot of the others are. He's seen it. He is skilled at knowing what it does and to make heads or tails of it. But
So
his interests are not directly in here. He will still make the standard jab though internally. That it seems typical. He doesn't seem to have any off mutations that seem to warrant copying and taking the data back.
Cool. So
if he steals the data, that'll be a compliment.
is there like I don't know, because you're primarily like a soldier, do you like run a threat analysis kind of filter on it?
He's not a soldier. He's more of an explorer or a
yeah.
scout.
Okay, cool,
he's more of a scout.
Cool.
So his entire thing is just to be resilient, to make sure he gets things done, and he was designed for less civilized areas.
Yeah.
So his mindset is definitely not in here. He's not super typical in a sense, but he's typical for those who do things. He makes a comment of it. If you gave him like Beetle or Xenos data, though, he would have definitely. I think his focus is less on intelligent, sapient biology and more in xenobiology.
So you're like a hunter and explorer. You're on the hunt for the new, and like anything that's like within this. For you, especially an explorer type, a fairly broad range of normal doesn't even really raise an eyebrow. It's like, yep, that's medical data.
Yep. If you give him like animal data, he'll be more interested.
Sweet.
That's where he was trained more to handle Xenos.
It might literally be that we just like have a on cargo system. We're like psychic alien that's like fucking us all up. So might still have chance for that.
Mm-hmm. That will definitely be interesting. Xenos right now, Reamer right now thinks it's the bleed. He's like, in his mind, he's like, "Oh, this is the reason why this is why most veins don't deal with the bleed internally."
Yeah,
really
so
just never understood that.
Yeah, so this is the conversation that we don't have.
Yep. A lot is said, but nothing was said.
Good to move on to the next day, I think.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Next day rolls around. Everyone make a difficulty 5 perception test for me, please.
Same as
last
couple.
Yep. Same as the last couple.
Do I still need to make it? And does everyone get an asset from like the knowledge that I shared?
Absolutely. You can all have an asset from Friday's information, and yes, you still need to make it.
Oh yeah, I never did anything with the asset I generated from. Could that be helpful here?
Sure.
Okay, so 2 levels down. Difficulty 3. Will the dice be with me?
Definitely.
Yes.
Aww.
Very much so.
Ooh, major effect.
Friday, 20. Major effect. For your major effect, I think that you are able to detect by walking around the ship and being very aware of what you're looking for now. I think your major effect.
Yeah. Sweet. And scanning literally everything. I love that I scored a major effect on perception. That makes me so happy.
Yeah. Yeah, so for Whittle and Remor, you're both now aware of a growing headache. That it's like when you're not sure of how bad you're feeling until you're not feeling bad anymore, and then you're like, wow, I was really not feeling great. But you've suddenly become aware of like a growing headache and just general kind of crappy feeling. And particularly you find yourself like seeing things in the mirror about yourself that you don't like, that you've never had an issue with before. Maybe it's the centering of your face, maybe it's the coloring of your markings is just like you're starting to feel a little bit worse about yourself for no real apparent reason.
My flaps are too long.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Just like I don't care how much I don't know. It's just like Cinch is just still bouncing around, completely oblivious, and I think I'm gonna enjoy.
Reaver looks at that. It sits there and like, internally assesses like, this is odd.
Finally, with your 20, you're able to narrow it down to the back half of the ship.
So that's where the cargo is, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're able to narrow it down to the cargo area.
And there's a person who's in charge of cargo stuff.
There is,
stuff.
yeah.
Okay.
Just scroll up. You can see all the names, but it is Chief Engineer Ford.
Chief Engineer Ford, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, day 2 rolls around. What would everyone like to do? And 2 more days. Well, you said day 4 was your point of no return. 2 of 4.
I'm gonna copy all that into blue group chat just because it scrolls less.
Sure.
I think Finch is gonna try and get an opportunity to find Finch on the bridge alone, and just complain about how incompetent his crew is, and he really needs to whip them into shape.
Cinch is talking to Finch. You got it. What would everyone else like to do?
I'm gonna interrogate cargo specialist Kian about any odd cargo or any weird new crew that they picked, specifically with a lookout for anything that might cause bleed effects. So if they use, is there? I'm not that familiar with magic in this setting, and it's quite possible that Fidey wouldn't either, but whatever was broadly available knowledge, is there can stuff cause bleed effects, or it's largely people or beings?
Yes, items can be associated with the bleed. There are devices that are a bleed user will put their own life force, energy, whatever you want to call it, into an object, and then it will function using that as a power source until it runs out. There's technomancy, which can create devices using the bleed, or interact with devices using the bleed. In fact, there are machines and weapons, etc., that can only be used by technomancers. Yeah, and areas where the bleed is strong, Fidey as a planetary surveyor would know this. Areas where the bleed is strong, because underneath our universe, our dimension, there's the topography of the bleed where it pools and is weaker and stronger in different places. In places where it's very strong and close to the surface of reality, substances will warp and change.
Okay.
Yeah, so elements will act strangely, maybe be more reactive or less reactive than they should. Maybe an acid becomes alkaline becomes acid, just weird physical properties.
Okay. I guess background question, and tell me if this is something we need to spend the day to actually inquire on. How long did it take for the crew to develop this syndrome? Or I guess maybe they'd have some sort of intuitive sense where you can just ask a local crew member, and whatever he says in 5 seconds, or maybe you can actually go through logs, but I guess that would actually...
Yeah, I think this is a thing to ask around about.
Okay.
If you want to investigate the crew.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to roll that into
speaking to Kiana.
Yeah, I'm terrible at speaking to people, so I am gonna inform since she's doing the captain still.
Yep.
I can I rope Yatel into doing this? I don't know, or Yatel, do you? Or, what do you prefer being called by as like a short version? By the way, Whittle?
Whittle's fine. Yeah.
Whittle. Okay. Is Whittle good at social, or you just want to do anthropology here?
Whittle is good at social.
Okay. Can I rope in? I think I might be better off still scanning like Whittle, are you okay with me dropping this off on your, or did you have other plans?
Yep, I'm fine to talk to Kiana and use full willpower to try and not drool while doing it.
Cool. So I think that's in safe hands, and I'm gonna go and do a scan of the defenses or so, just in case.
The defenses of the ship?
I mean, I want a good sense of whether the security captain is likely to flip in a mutiny, and if unlikely to flip, how many guns do they have that they can point at us?
So there's two things there. One is, are they going to flip? Which I'm not sure what method you're using to do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Yeah. But in terms of evaluating like internal defenses, that's definitely something you can do with the day.
Yep.
Okay. Evaluating ship defenses.
I guess like whatever my estimation of human emotions is, which ebbs and flows. We're not necessarily even human, but like morale is part of it, of how much. Maybe just like they'll be just like, Jesus, this gun feels terrible. I'm just not gonna bother shooting anyone.
And Remo, what would you like to do today?
He's talking to that. You're going to the cargo, right? Wait. Recap where everyone else is at. I want to make sure to find a room to get to.
Cinch is talking to the captain. Whittle is talking to the cargo specialist. Fidey is evaluating ship defenses.
With the food system being down, I think Remor might just go to doing some additional sabotage. No, wait, because he's gonna avoid any social situation, and since he's either talking or like scanning things, which he doesn't have any equipment to do so, he might cause some additional sabotage in an effort of at worst distracting the crew away from the cargo area.
Sure. Well, let's start with Remo.
Wait, so
I was gonna say, like, maybe try and affect the engine so that can empty out the bridge and I can talk to the captain easier.
But then that'd be closer to the cargo, and it seems like the cargo might be the place we want to nab whatever's happening here.
I don't think we're still trying to nab the captain, and like we might find out what the problem is, and then find out that removing the problem makes our actual job harder.
Oh, well, or we could use it as a weapon and make the captain the worst. Beyond all reason.
Plus, if we find out, it's a bonus if we find out what's going on. So we can find out what's going on, use it on the captain to make the captain way worse, and then get all the crew to turn on him.
Yeah.
So I'm already going there to try and make the captain way worse.
Yeah, so I think in a sense of doing this, I think this time Reamer would try to damage the communication system. So if case we do fight something, maybe they won't be able to communicate in the future, or at least have a hard time communicating internally in the ship.
That's good.
Sure.
That's really good.
So let's start with yourself. Difficulty 4 speed roll to remain unseen again.
Yep. Spending 2 to because of the one edge to make it a little bit easier. So it's difficulty with one edge. So standard difficulty. Hope dice are kind. No, they're not kind.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
you
Well,
can use an XP to re-roll that before I intervene on you, if you so desire.
Hmm.
keep the XP.
I probably need. This is if there's any time to use XP, it is. Sucks. I need XP. Alright.
If I might tempt you, if you accept this XP, it'd give you an advancement. You'd have enough to mini level up.
Hmm.
I
But I
mean,
have a good feeling I'm going to be tossing the brig after.
it's your decision, but I think I'm at least very happy to roll with whatever happens.
I kind of need the XP, so yeah, I'm in the brig, guys. Probably.
I don't know.
You gain an XP and you can give an XP to somebody else.
I mean, hopefully just you are in the brig.
We'll find out. I wonder who is less probably the least XP. I was to equalize the pools now.
I
Uh,
have
I'm standing at 1 right now.
I have 2 and 1 advancement.
Who's the lowest tier? Who has the least advancement?
I have 2 advancements. I probably have the most.
I've
Yeah,
got 1 and 1 XP.
So yeah, so
Friday and Whittle at the
Cinch.
time.
I'll
Sorry,
give it to
Friday
Fighty.
and Cinch.
I'll give it to Fighty because he's hacked. But his scans have been great.
Thanks for that. But also, if you're going by lowest, I think it's literally Cinch.
Oh no, so you're right. Cinch actually has 1. Not even right, Cinch because he actual lower. There it is.
Yeah, no worries. Cheers.
Thank you.
And you still get to sabotage, it's just that it's seen. So difficulty 4, either might, speed, or intellect, your choice. And it's the comm system.
Speed, same bonus 4. Using 2 points. That goes well.
Success. you do break the comm system. And I think we will keep that in the back of our minds as we. Sorry,
Do our comms get affected? Do they have like a separate little sender thingy, or do they rely on ship internal comms as well?
Ship internal comms are not completely down. It is, well, I assume you're trying to make it as infuriating as possible. So rather than being completely down, it takes a long time to buffer. There's static.
It doesn't stop translating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not completely down. It's just incredibly frustrating to use. Yeah. So keep that in the back of my mind, and we'll swap to let's say FIDE, evaluating the ship defenses.
Okay, yeah, I'm doing that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry if anyone had headphones on and my loud laughter burst in the eardrum. I really apologize for that. But yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly. Okay, so I guess the way I'm trying to do this is going to like the security place. I don't know how involved it is, but I'm imagining like a fairly small, like equivalent of a security guard room in like in a mall or a small business, which is like cramped and small, and I don't know how many people are there. Just like having probably slightly aggravating conversation with whoever's there, and also scanning the room itself, seeing where they have eyes on if there's surveillance, and what their armaments are if it's like on there, if the small arms and whatever else they have is like literally there, or if everyone just is constantly armed and their guns are on their person at all times. I'd like to know that too, and just like do passive scans throughout the day if that's a thing. Okay, does that work?
sure. Difficulty 3, perception.
Okay, bear with me for a sec. So I assume survey equipment helps, I assume perception helps, and I assume identifying objects or calling to mind small details helps.
Yes.
So that's difficulty 0.
Yes.
I'm gonna roll that anyway, just in case I get a massive.
Yes.
At 20 or whatever.
Yeah.
Nope.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, you're able to identify that there's 5 security personnel, not including the security chief. They all carry standard marine/assault rifles, which mechanically medium weapon. And as you're concluding your scans, internally there's no real security measures other than locking bulkheads as standard on a ship for like sealing off sections, etc. Externally, they have the 2 ship-to-ship cannons fore and aft, which are used to deter small pirate vessels from trying anything, but against any serious attack, they would probably be in a spot of bother. And as you're concluding your survey within the security office, you notice that all of the security personnel are gearing up.
Uh-oh. Huh. Interesting. I would ask a stupid question, wouldn't I? Like some like, okay, what's the like? So is Lahua acting out again? Well, what are you guys doing?
That's classified. Stay into your quarters, civilian.
Rude.
And they're gonna push past you, and we will cut to Whittle speaking to Kiana.
Right. Now here's an interesting question. This nautical shell, they talk using hand gestures, right?
They do, yeah. Primarily sign language.
Yes.
Which, using Babel, you can understand.
Okay. Yeah, that was the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she will attempt to talk to Kiana. I suppose get off, since we've gotten some of the information about the origin of the odd feeling coming from the back of the ship. She'll kind of try and like probe into like when did you all start feeling this way exactly?
She signs, feel what way? And you can speak to she can listen.
Yeah.
Or you can try to sign if you so desire.
I think she'll do like basic signs, but still talk while she does it.
Yeah, it's very difficult to do, but Whittle is capable.
She'll say, feeling that the cybernetic installations have been augmentations, have been awkward or hard to use. Because whilst we've been on the ship, we've also noticed some strange effects in terms of like how we feel.
Her shell ripples a different color washes over it, and there's a different scent in the air as she signs. I know what you mean. There's been a growing feeling for the last 4 cycles, by cycle talking about like the cargo route. Ever since Finch took over, things have been different. The crew is irritable and describing the feeling that you express.
Yeah. What will say? Yes, that is very disconcerting, I would say. Honestly, it seems really inconvenient to have to deal with that all the time. I mean, if you had even a short break without him, I mean, it feels like it would make a world of difference, wouldn't it?
Oh, I've been so she signs like her shell flushes of a million pink. I've been saying this for 2 weeks now that he was promoted too early. It's the faith of the first officer that's keeping him in place.
I see that is certainly unfortunate. I'm sure that the good Vimo was his name? Chemo?
Which one?
The second in command.
Chemo, yeah.
Yeah, I'm certain that Chemo has the best of intentions, but he should really put the needs of the crew above the needs of the individual. Surely, I mean, I know from speaking to Lehua that she feels similarly.
Yes, I've been. Hang on, what's that? And you hear a security alarm go off. As we cut to Whittle on the bridge, Cinch on the bridge with Finch.
Just a question. So is this all happening simultaneously? So do I know that Rimmer's been caught, or is he getting caught while I get there?
So what's happened simultaneously so far is the security officers pushing past Fire D, the alarm going off with Kiana, and your conversation will presumably end within a synchronized event.
Damn it. Okay. I probably like storm onto the bridge a little bit and like make a dramatic, fairly sigh of relief because I think is it empty, or is it like the normal bridge officers and Finch are there?
Finch and Chemo are there.
Okay. Okay, hold on a sec. I need to think about this. Okay, so I storm onto the bridge and it's like, finally, people who will understand having to get away from incompetent crew. And I make up a bit of a fib that, I'm just sick of the incompetence of my crew, that one of them was sent out to, try and send a message to our employer. And I need space away from them. And I turn to Finch like, you know what having an incompetent crew is like, don't you?
Finch goes, do I ever? Honestly, these people. I was a junior officer not many weeks ago, and as soon as I was promoted, they've all lost their minds.
Just kind of like keep baking him on a little bit. I know, like that squid just letting us onto the bridge before. I am sorry about that. We had rumor, we had heard culturally all your staff could be considered of the highest quality. So I am sorry about our earlier blunder on the bridge. But it's good to know at least one person here is in charge.
Can't get the staff these days. Honestly, I used to look up to Chemo here, and now look.
I look kind of like sadly at Chemo, but he is one of the good ones, isn't he?
This is a really good victory record.
Depends on the day. He was supposed to be captain ahead of me, and look at him. Didn't have the balls. Chemo kind of looks over to you and shrugs impassively. Doesn't seem bothered.
Oh. What what? Well, it does take a very, very strong creature such as yourself to whip a crew like this into shape. Have you been feeling? All of them have been complaining about stress. Have you been feeling that same way?
Oh my! Have you been? Honestly, I want holiday. I need therapy. Honestly, what are they on about?
No, they are a bunch of wine. And I just kind of like lean in. I'm like, try dealing with Spidey for more than a day. I'll tell you,
Wine. They'll get their scheduled 4 days off each year as promised in the contract.
But until then, maybe you could give me some pointers about whipping them into shape. Maybe I could see you whip them a little harder.
And I think that's when a security alarm goes off. And Finch, Chemo look at each other, quite concerned. Finch looks back to you, takes a look at his console, reads the information there. He goes, "Speaking of incompetence, one of your lot has been attacking our comms array."
Gives the biggest eye roll. I'm like, is he attacking or was he just trying to send the message I asked him to? I'm not we scraped
You do
the
not
bottom.
send messages with electrified knuckle dusters. Right, you're coming with me, young lady.
But
And, Finch is gonna stride off towards the source of the security alarm.
Apparently I'm following behind. Oh, damn it.
Yeah. I think we cut to all of the relevant characters as at the end of one corridor. As Remo, you're at the other end of the corridor with 3 security officers leveling guns at you in the intermediary.
Just gonna put up her hands. He's not bad. He's just incompetent. He deals with biology. He doesn't even know when he electrocutes stuff. We scrape the bottom of the barrel for these people, you guys. My employer is cheap.
Do you think incompetence should be rewarded? The security
Oh, absolutely not. Throw him in the bridge, but don't shoot him.
Yeah, everyone's here can say things.
What would Reamer say? I don't think Reamer's going to say anything. He sees you're attempting to plead to get him in a slightly better situation than before, and he's like, he doesn't want to talk. But I think he will allow his knuckles to move on their own because they're somewhat sentient eel knuckle things.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly. I mean, he always has the gloves on. Whether they shock or not is separate. But they move on their own in this sense. So he's allowing that to happen. Normally they're tamed, quote unquote, but they're allowing them to move or writhe a bit.
Your arms are floating upwards in the greatly lowered gravity.
Mm-hmm. He has his hands up, but he's letting the gloves move. So it's if you want to play up that you don't control these gloves very easily type deal. I think it's what he's trying to present without any words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's since be surrounded by these incompetents all the time, you understand.
Yeah, Fidey and Whittle, what do we see from you?
Oh, I think I'm taking a moment when most of the security crew, I guess, is occupied with this.
Great distraction.
Yeah, just getting more data on what they're actually, what points they can actually surveil. I guess is what I'm trying to do.
As in CCTV?
Yeah, CCTV or whatever other kind of scanning capacity they might have here. I don't know, they might have smell-o-vision here.
Right. Whittle?
I think Whittle will, whilst they're watching the whole thing go down, will kind of sidle over to Chemo and just start kind of muttering towards him. See how he deals with this situation. As annoyed as the rest of the crew is, and you need a real competent leader in situations like this, and really, I'm not sure he's up to scratch, and the rest of the crew aren't very happy about it. How do you feel?
Make I've been tracking this. Make a difficulty 6 intellect roll for me, please. This is persuasion.
Okay.
Are my lies and egging the captain on any help to that?
Sure. Your provocation of the captain cinch can help this roll.
Okay, so it was 6, and so that's 5. Let's see if this works.
Success.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think Chemo steps up and says, Jonah, I think we need to talk. And we see Lahua, the squid creature, drift over and click and whistle. And Whittle, could you translate for me, please? I'm fed up of this translation. It ruins all the emotion.
Whittle
Jonah,
is more than willing to translate.
mm-hmm.
Correctly or
Jonah,
incorrectly?
you have gone insane. You used to be so kind, and now you're just yelling at everybody all the time. And cargo specialist Kiana whips out her hands and signs. Yeah, what she said. And the security officers are all looking at each other side to side. Capono, hard to read. Capono is inexpressive. Jonah turns. What are you talking about, Chemo? What, Kiana? Lua? You're my crew. And Fidey, you can make your perception test, difficulty 4.
Oh, okay. What am I? There's like other long-term things that I'm doing. This things seem to going to ahead. I guess. Yeah, I'm just I'm doing what I said I did, which is trying to find out where all the locations are, and I guess for the moment at least I can also use this to be aware of what's actually happening all over the ship, right? Or at least where they have surveillance.
Sure.
Okay, so I think this is difficulty 1 by default, 1 from surveying equipment, and 2 from my usual bevy of perception skills. And I'll just roll it flat.
Ooh,
Okay.
minor effect.
Yeah, you're able to get a handle of the security system, its blind spots, the surveillance that they have internally.
Can I also get a minor effect? Can I ask for a specific thing for this?
Sure.
The other thing that I wanted to find out, and I kind of thought Whittle would. I mean, everyone has so much focus on the mission, like no curiosity about the mystery at all. Is any of the surveillance cameras pointed into the cargo bay, and is any of that perhaps through sheer luck or through some other means helps me identify, if it's cargo or whatever, the source of the bad juju? Or is this too much of a stretch?
Yeah, you can see into the cargo bay. I don't think you can identify any particular specific. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess at this point I don't even.
I mean, you can access the
know.
cargo manifest, let's say, for your minor effect.
Oh, that's great. That's definitely what I want. And can I say how this happens is like in the most circuitous way possible? Because I think sorry, not Fluster, Cinch would literally just hack in and download it. But the way I get it is I use my scanning equipment on the screen of the surveillance thing, which is zoomed in real close into a panel in the cargo bay, which does have the cargo manifest on it, and then it's like reconstructed by the survey equipment to actually be borderline readable, and then I actually, I guess, put it to memory because it's like a very cropped PNG otherwise.
Sure.
Yeah, by the way,
Yeah.
Cinch would have just hacked right in.
Yeah, but like, you're busy like with the primary goal, while I'm like elbows deep in this like tertiary one.
Perfect. I'm just here like egging the captain on a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. Whispering. You just whisper in his ear, "Can you believe this?"
Yeah, we cut back into the very tense situation. Anyone can speak or take an action.
I mean, Reamer has he's just trying to see if he can get just in case, if he get the best angle to get the most people in a 20 by 20 wide column in case. For
In case of what?
In case he has to use a mine restricting wall. 20 by 20 feet.
I think that would definitely block off the whole corridor.
Yeah, but he's waiting to see if things get bad enough that he would actually use that Cypher.
Sure.
Otherwise,
you can have an asset on its placement if it's technical or difficult.
Yeah, but
preparing.
He doesn't want to use it.
Yeah.
But but he's just sitting there going like, if it's bad, because I mean that would be like everything's going against him. He's starting to see a civil war happening between the two crews, and if it happens to this part, he could probably escape on his own if he really wants to by pushing himself. He does have move like the wind, or sorry, what's the actual skill? It's called Fleet of Foot.
Yeah, he can move and take an action.
But right now he's observing to see where where everything bubbles over. He's ready. He always has his gloves on, so he doesn't mean he's never unequipped.
Whistle and Cinch on the other side of the gun line.
Cinch is going to give a very understanding and sympathetic look to what's his name? Chemo. And make it look like she's whispering for Jonah to stand down, but really she's just gonna egg Jonah on and whisper "It's showing their true colors. They don't like you. I can't stand your leadership." It's like seeing if she can push them into making a mistake with the crew.
Sure. Difficulty 4. Intellect roll.
And can I use lies and trickery to bring that
Certainly
down?
can. It's definitely trickery.
Not really. Kind of just stating the truth. Okay, 3. And the edge thing is where I pay 3 points.
Yep.
It's the effort. Yeah, you pay 3.
Okay, and if I have
Or
effort,
you can pay up to a total of 5 to reduce it by 2.
I'm gonna do that.
You upped your effort, so you can spend 5 points.
See if I get anything kind of cool. And then it's effort 2 this time?
Yep. So you're down to difficulty 1. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
+1 damage too.
Listed at difficulty 3.
Social damage. No, you did that right.
Oh, okay, I did it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see how well.
Whittle.
Whittle will start talking to give me a second to Capono and will basically be saying oh, I'm sure you felt it too, haven't you, head of security? And of course the good head of security will definitely listen to you because you are the one in charge of what they do, and you really know how to handle the crew and represent them in a upright way, supporting the crew when they need them most, even in difficult situations, and use Enthrall to stop him from doing anything.
Objecting, yeah. I think speaking back to you, I'm hip to the job, Daddy-O. I understand what you're putting down. And as you notice the distinctive speech pattern of Mineral.
Right on, my dude. We're
Remember to
flowing.
like and subscribe.
Don't you know it?
I think Chemo speaks up. As Jonah, don't you think it's time you took a holiday? And, what? But no, Chemo, no. You're my second in command. No, Chemo. Jonah, I'm sorry. It's over. We need a break. I can't believe you're doing this. And Chemo looks over to the security officer, and the three people who are pointing guns at Remo turn, and two of them put an arm under each of his wings and lift him off as he goes, Chemo! No, I'm the boss here! Chemo! He's dragged off.
Then she's just gonna go up to him and like rub his shoulder. That must have been very difficult for you.
Reamer walks forward, looks around. He's like, "It's like I should really feed my knuckles before I enter any ship."
Yeah, you should.
This is the second time this has happened.
She's like trying. She's still trying to like just like keep up this air of like leadership and just go. Breaking other people's ship. This is gonna come out of your pay.
Chemo looks over to Remo and is like, I understand we're all tired and frustrated, but I would appreciate it if you don't break my ship.
They're satisfied for next. He's like, well, and then Bride said they're satisfied for the next week. So sorry, they tend to absorb anything nearby if they're underfed, and they've been draining sooner lately.
We'll delay our next cargo cycle at Tellus. I think we could all use some shore leave.
Very much so. Maybe I should also not go to Planet A. Stay over there.
That might be for the best.
I'm gonna just go to the back. I'm just gonna go. He's just gonna go and walks away.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
Okay.
He's just gonna go, thinks to his head momentarily on where to actually say, and just leaves. Because he didn't think of it, and just walks away.
Okay. Cool.
To be honest, where do they take the captain? What direction?
Take him to the brig.
And the brig's towards the rear of the ship?
It's in the front. It's like underneath
front?
the bridge. Yeah.
He wants to get closer to the cargo bay.
Yeah, I think after this, we all want to sort of know what. Because Spidey would have told us, so we all sort of want to know what's causing the bleed.
So, Reamer's gonna attempt to nonchalantly walk toward the cargo bay.
That was like a triumph of like a social interaction, by the way. So,
yes. great.
Caught in the middle of sabotage, and the takeaway is like a slap on the wrist for the offender, and like the captain gets arrested. Great job.
Yep. And I didn't have to knock out people with a mind restricting wall.
Yeah, I'm like in our joint chat, you're like definitely seeing yeah, that very cropped PNG of the cargo manifest, and I'm which because the comms are down probably comes in a fair bit late, and I'm just heely rolling to the cargo bay at leisure. I don't think any security is there to stop me.
Yep, Reamer is probably soon show up. He's just like, you're our associates are eloquent. We should be clear for we should be clear for a while. Let's quickly find this miscellaneous cargo.
I think that rather than following the rest, Whittle will stay behind and talk to Lehua in a click language, and both just in part because it's like good to be able to speak with clicks even if it's not her own language, and in part to maybe assist with distracting.
Sure. Yeah, we cut into, I think Lehua was saying to Whittle, hey, so I know, like, can I, like, get your number, or...
And another exchange of numbers and invitation to dinner, I assume.
Exactly. Invitation to dinner until us during the shore leave. Although for Whittle, it might be another member of the crew that she's thinking of as dinner, but you know. Yeah. Cut to the cargo bay.
So it's Feige and Reamer in the cargo bay?
It's a 16-digit number. It's a base number.
Chief Engineer Ford is there. Security or not, but Chief Engineer Ford is.
Yo, Metal Man. I've got can I have scanned through the list to see if there's any like weird cargo on there?
I am not a man.
Okay, what are you? Well, you're metal. That's good enough.
I am an artificial intelligence.
Reamer's probably nudges in. He's like, please do not appropriate other sapient being to he just says that off.
Your idea of gender is so primitive.
Well, I said mislabel. I think would have been a better term. Basically says don't call them what they're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Listen, Metal Intelligence. I don't care what you fuck. I just want to know something about cargo.
What can I help you with?
Yeah, and can I have? I assume the cargo manifest like does have like times when it's been shipped, been on the ship, when it's been off, like measurements, weights, possibly contents, or like at least a SKU. Or
you have a full list of contents.
Okay, so I'm looking anything that's like not. I guess I'm looking for anything for what's not precious metals. Or
everything is precious metals. There's listings of metals and materials in various weights.
Okay. Is there anything that stands out weird for me as a geologist?
Is there anything that's been there
as
for 4 cycles?
Geologist. yeah, and obviously there's like a time cutoff point in terms of like it had to be at least for 4 cycles, possibly longer than that. It's possible they're just like going through a captain every 4 cycles or so. but we won't be around for that.
No planet
Yeah.
A.
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So the cargo manifest isn't really that. So I guess this would be something to ask the cargo specialist for, but then the engineers like working here as well. He'd probably know. I guess might as well ask him. And there's less risk of like royally screwing up the social for me here, for me and for Remor. So I guess just gonna ask him if there's been any odd cargo that they picked up on Planet A or so. That's been around for a while. Is there anything that's on the ship that they've picked up on Planet A still, or I guess that's whatever.
Everything here is from Planet A. Don't go looking through the cargo.
Yeah, not really planning to. Anything here that's from anything still on the ship that's from Planet A and has been on here since from 4 cycles ago?
No. No, all the stuff is from the last time they were at Planet A.
Okie doke.
Yep.
Okay. So possibly the cargo thing is just kind of a dead end.
Reaver thinks himself it's probably a false manifest.
I mean, I got it through the minor effect, so I trusted it's not like a. Not,
well,
yeah, I'm not deceiving you there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought. Never mind.
Okay, I guess like if this doesn't work, we might follow up on this later. But instead, I'm just gonna ask them. Ask Chief Engineer Ford about Ferraris. Okay, now I'm gonna ask him about the previous captain, the one before well, not captain, the one before Admiral Chemo and the one before Admiral Finch. What happened to that guy?
The previous captain, Lacoma, was recalled to the capital ship. I believe they serve in a superior position now.
So a promotion, not really much of an issue.
Promotion is irrelevant. Demotion is irrelevant. Position is irrelevant. Only the will of the VAC is what matters.
Cool.
The will of the Bach?
Yep.
What's the Bach?
It's a horror way thing.
Yes, yeah. It's a horrify thing.
To horrify. Yeah.
VAC is it's one of the words for the hive mind.
Oh.
Yeah.
I heard an F in front of that. I was like, paused.
VAK, although the A
Got
has
it.
an accent, so I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Also known as the voice.
Yeah. Reamer's like,
Okay.
Is it Reamer asks, what was his accomplishment before he left? Or
That's a good question.
He completed the many monthly quotas that are required of a Alina Fiafa vessel.
what was the last delivery? Or was it from Planet A?
No.
Was it from Planet? What planet was the delivery from?
We began exporting from Planet A upon the ascension of Admiral Finch.
That's
Understood.
okay. So it might not be a specific issue with the cargo. It might just literally be all of the cargo all of the time, which is great. So I have.
Can I
Yeah.
can I use my computer, like, what is it, hack the impossible, and just like shut him down so we can look into a crate and see if it's like bleed affected material somehow.
You can, just aware that culturally this is the same as like chloroforming someone.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessary, and I have scanning equipment enough that I might be able to just. And if it's like this huge clump of material, I'll probably know. Can I with all my like can I pinpoint the bleed or like the effects of the bleed on me through the use of the survey equipment and like the medical stuff I have? Like use myself and my biomarkers of stress, I guess, as a triangulation tool.
Just for the sake of time and assuming that everyone works on this problem, eventually, yeah, you'll work out it's the cargo in general. It's
Okay.
all of the cargo, all of the time from Planet A.
The cargo, it's not all one cargo, it's miscellaneous items, right?
Yeah, miscellaneous metals. Yeah.
Planet A is a bleed planet.
Great.
So with that information, Reamer's like, note to self: never visit this planet.
For me, I think it's not to self visit planet and study it. But okay, I think we found out everything. I think the main thing is to make a decision of what we do with this information. Like, Chemo's nice, giving the crew information about this would probably help them unfuck their lives. But also it might jeopardize Finch staying in the brig.
Reamer mentions he doesn't really. Reamer says, "I don't really care about. I care about the objectives. If you feel compelled to share this information anonymously, send them a message after we've gotten our bounty."
Yes,
I'm down with that one.
Yes, I was going to say, may I posit? This is a good exit strategy. We have discovered that we've discovered something about the cargo, and thus, as part of our survey duties, need to go and report that back. And then later on, when maybe a week or two later, we can. I've got a.
Or
number here.
better yet, sell this information to BBTV.
Are you following Whittle's course of action?
I don't know if I necessarily am. I would like to. I think giving why a solid. You know, I feel like I solved a mystery, and it's not really like a solid mystery unless you have everyone in the room together. And
nope, I want my money. I want my money.
Listen,
no, I want my money.
I want your money as much as you do, but we can get your money, and do these people a solid as well. Like I'm gonna call up Chemo. Listen,
Reamer puts his hands on your shoulders, like, please.
We will call them in a week when we get paid.
Okay.
We could. Reamer says
out of character. If this goes the way. I'm not gonna immediately spill anything. If this seems the way that we're gonna lose the possibility of any part of the payout, I'll back out. But I do want to explore this option. Is that okay?
Well, Reamer will say maybe we could convince them on an extended stay, and once we report, then give them the information.
Also, I literally just want Finch in the sack. So I'm gonna call up Chemo on the still choppy comms.
We can do this conversation / scene and then time. We're 10 minutes over already, so I'm just gonna call it here. We can come back to this, revisit it some other time. What happened there?
Yeah,
but you can all take the 8,000 howl total for completing all 3 parts of the mission. So that's 2,000 each, straight out. 2 expensive items each for a successful mission. Well done to everybody, and thank you for playing.
And nothing with XP, right? I'm just trying to remember.
I didn't really do I only did the one GM intervention, so yeah, everyone can take 1 XP as well. I
Yeah.
didn't really have opportunity to give out more, so yeah, you should definitely all take an XP.
We rolled pretty well.
Yeah.
It's up
Yeah.
for me, but it's fine. It landed to me to some XP.
Yeah, that's on me for not
Like-
intervening more. So yeah, you can definitely all.
I
take
Okay.
failed. I failed all of those perception checks. Like you guys were all getting headaches. Then it was just like bouncing
Yeah.
around the ship, just like yeah. Da, da, da.
I'm
Just to close out the session, all right, we can get into the.
Mhm.
Just close out the session. We have the credits start to roll, and then as we reach the end of the credits, we see produced by Xavier, BBTV Anchor, on behalf of BBTV and Telas Terra Group Incorporated. We cut to the end of credit scene, and we see a shot of Finch in the bridge, on the phone to someone, going, "Yeah, I know. Unbelievable, the cheek. Yeah, no, don't worry. I'll be back. Don't you worry." Then we cut to black. To be continued.